Hey, I'm Marcus.
And I'm Nick.
We are working class nerds.
Cue the intro. That's right, we are Working Class Nerds, the podcast that gives you no information about your favorite information.
Today is Thursday, July 28th, 2022, and you can find this 161 podcast on Apple Podcasts, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, and anywhere you can find a podcast in the galaxy far, far away. And now, and every other week prior, you can find every single Working Class Nerds episode on the YouTubes. You can also watch me terribly fail at video games Tuesdays, Saturdays, and Sundays at twitch.tv/MarcusB814.
And you can watch me play video games every single Monday night at twitch.tv/NickVern51.
You can find the both of us on Twitter. I am at MarcusB814.
And I'm at Nick Vern. That's NICKVR. In this week's episode, we're talking League of Legends, gaming trends, and the new Marvel content roadmap for Phase 5 and 6. And joining us today is the most handsome member of CWE Power, our paintball team's resident HR representative, the best League of Legends player that I know, and a dear friend of mine. So welcome to the show, Fernando. And what have you been up to besides fixing your computer and figuring out how to turn on headphones?
What is up, gentlemen? Very excited to be here. Just want to say, in terms of what I've been up to, literally just rewatched The Dark Knight Rises 20 minutes before starting this podcast with you guys.
Very nice.
Also, before that, finished Castlevania on Netflix, which is phenomenal.
Fantastic.
Have you seen it?
Fantastic.
Yeah. Castlevania is one of my favorite games of all time. That, and it is gruesome.
Yeah.
Like, and it just goes to show how fucked up like the Catholic Church was way back in the day. And I shouldn't even say the Catholic Church, like the Christian Church, like way back in the day. And I know it's mostly like legend, but like it's fucked up. Like the priests hold everything like over people's heads, and like it's fucked up. And that anime, like that would probably be the only anime I really like, because like Dragon Ball Z's whack.
Yes, oh my God.
Yes, Hazel. Yes, Nick.
There's the
kidding,
door.
But like,
I'm pointing. Exactly. There's the door. Just leave.
I mean, I'm shaking my head a little bit, but I understand because anime is not for everyone. Castlevania, though, great job. I think they do such a good job in terms of gruesome storytelling, character development. It's so good. I even tried getting my dad to watch it, and he was like, I don't know. And I'm like, you just got to make it past the first few episodes where it develops. But, man, it is so good. And I know the games are legendary. I haven't played them, but I know the story. The characters are super interesting in the show, and the fight scenes are really well done, especially for just like an animated style show, which is why it caught my attention. But I will say, definitely not a show to watch on an airplane, which is what I would do, like traveling. You know how you like download Netflix episodes?
Yes.
You just see like someone, like a character just get flat out like murdered, you know what I mean, like brutally. And next thing you know, there's like a kid on the aisle next to you, and you're like, oh God.
Just staring at your phone.
I hope they're not staring at my phone while I'm watching this show.
Yeah, you didn't have to worry about that with me on the flight to Dallas, that's for sure.
But
yeah.
It's just out cold.
What I would be watching. But anyway, but is Dark Knight
you got a sample before the show?
Yeah. Dark Knight Rises, is that the one with Liam Neeson? And that's like the beginning story?
No, that's just
it's the last one. It's still Christian Bale, but it's the one with Bane.
Yeah.
So Tom Hardy, who's Bane, and then
they ruined
darkness.
Yeah,
you merely adopted it.
That movie ruined movie theaters for my wife and every other scared woman on the planet, or dude.
What do you mean?
Yeah, I actually believe it or not. What were you gonna say?
Well, because they got shot up in a movie theater.
Yeah, and I was gonna say I actually lived in Colorado when that happened. And it was fun, and I believe, funnily enough, at the time, like I knew people who were going to go to the midnight release of that. And next day you're waking up, going to go to school, and you're like, just kidding.
Glad we didn't go.
Yeah. And ever since then, same thing. I remember my sister wanted to go to like a midnight release of another movie. I can't remember which one, and my parents were like, absolutely not. So it's tough, but it's a great movie. I like to watch it. The score is really, really good. I watched Inception as well a few days ago, just because like Hans Zimmer does a great job. Storytelling is fantastic in all these movies. I
Yeah.
love it.
I really
That's
enjoyed
why-
everything Christopher Nolan did
Yeah.
before pre what's the war movie?
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk. Pre Dunkirk. I'm realizing my dislike for Dunkirk has a lot to do with the theater I watched it in, but when I saw Dunkirk in theaters like opening day or like opening week, and the bass was so loud in the theater. I watched it on an IMAX theater thinking it's going to be epic.
Mm.
And the bass is so loud I couldn't hear any of the dialogue the entire movie. Like the subwoofer was just wah, the whole movie. That's all I could hear was the subwoofer. So I heard none of the dialogue, like zero.
It was a good movie. I just think like it was one of those movies that everyone hyped it up because the score is great, cinematography is beautiful, but then when you get down to the nitty gritty, you're like, wow, this is a really slow movie.
So slow, and they just keep showing the same shit over and over. It's like, okay, I get it. The plane crashes by the ship. The plane crashes by the ship again, and the plane crashes by the ship again. It's like, okay, I get that you're trying to show these different angles of the same shit happening, but like, stop showing the ship. The plane crashed for 3 minutes each time you show it. I don't know. Yeah. I didn't like.
No, I've never seen the movie.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's okay. It's just okay. You're not missing a lot.
It's like there's like movies that I see that I'm like, wow, this is a good movie. I'm glad I watched it. I never have to see it again.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's like you're like, I did it and I can talk about it, but I don't need to like invest myself into it. Not like, other movie series and stuff like that.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of the last movie that I regretted watching. I can't even think of it. Like, even like my kids' movies, I dig. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're dope because they put like adult innuendos in them.
Shrek. Oh yeah.
No. Like, what movie did we just watch? Sing 2. Shit was funny.
Yeah,
that's a good movie. I mean?
Well,
Fernando watches all the animated ones. He loves Encanto.
Well, yeah.
Fernando's seen Encanto like 17 times, even though he's not Colombian.
We can't talk about Bruno, bro.
There's 2 types of people in this world. Somebody who makes a joke like Marcus did that like goes with the movie, and then someone who's like Burns, like he just likes the Disney movie because he's Latino. But you know what? It's fine.
Dude,
I'm actually gonna say this. Like, the cool thing about Disney movies or like those movies are I like it because I'm not Latino at all, right?
Marcus is as white as copy paper.
Exactly.
And so am I.
Right. But what I'm saying is like when you watch that, it like kind of lets you into a little bit of their culture. So like when I'm going to give an example. I had friends that were Portuguese or Italian or even the Greeks, right? And when you hang out with them, you can see the differences of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I had a friend that was Brazilian.
Yeah.
And when you go to their house, Brazilians, they just scream at the top of their lungs. Like there's no like shh, like talking like normal people. Everything is screaming. I'm like, and of course I don't understand what they're saying. And I would say to my friend, I'm like, dude, are your parents pissed? No, it's just the way we talk. I'm like, Jesus Christ. This is like, do you sleep? He's like, yeah, why? And like, whenever, like, and then at your house, if somebody's screaming at the top of the lungs, you're like, shh, my buddy's sleeping. They don't fucking wake up because they're used to the yelling. You know what I mean?
Right.
So like, what I'm trying to say is like, I feel like Encanto brought me into that culture and like, I think it's dope. But like, for me now, like everybody looks at everything else. I fucking look at the architecture. And like what I liked about it is the house was alive and like kind of like did stuff. And because I have
that's what you do.
I have a lot to do with houses. So like, but anyway.
Well, I mean,
look at Moana. Look at Moana.
Yeah. I mean, like, the thing is like on that note too of like the house, right? Growing up, it's such a thing with like Latino families that people just show up and they're all about like the home. Like you are thinking about the people you're with, but you're also thinking about the environment you're in, right? Like I can still recall, because I'm from Puerto Rico, literally born there. I speak Spanish. I know I sound white as fuck. Everyone tells me, and I'm always like, yeah, I get it. I'm not Puerto Rican enough here, or I'm not, I'm like American here, whatever. It doesn't matter to me. I'm like, when I go to Puerto Rico and I'm with I'm with my family. We just remember my grandma's house and how it's like you notice all the things changing, but you still just appreciate like that comforting feeling of going to that home, of being with the people and a good time. Like I always tell people, I'm like, you want to have a good time. Talking about even going back to like what you were saying about people being loud. I'm like, my girlfriend learned fast that my family is in your face. We're loud, we're crazy, and we have a good time. Like the drinking, the partying, the talking, everything. Like she was talking to me about how one time playing board games with her family was like, yeah, we're pretty intense. And I was like, you have no idea. And then she played Settlers of Catan with my family. And with her family, like, board games, it's like, people ask questions. You still play. It's a good time. My family, every move that was made, you have my siblings going into like a fucking, like, they're writing basically like a discussion about why that is a bad decision and basically questioning every single thing you could think of. And you're sitting there, my girlfriend's looking at me like, oh my God, this is so intense. I'm like, oh, this is just like a normal day, Your siblings questioning your move. You get into a fight. Your brother's blood pressure skyrockets when you're playing Settlers or Risk. And you get into this huge argument. And then at the end of the day, you're like, all right, love you. And you go to bed and you wake up and that's how you do it. You know what I mean? Like you're just surrounded by this like intense energy, which is also why like in the morning, I would say I'm a huge morning person. My girlfriend's just like, wow, you're so energetic and you have so much energy.
Oh my
God.
God.
You don't drink coffee. And I'm like, yeah, what do you mean?
You don't drink
coffee?
No, I don't.
That is weird in your culture too.
It is weird. It is 100% weird.
That is just a Fernando thing. That's not a Latino thing.
Oh, 100%. It's just like if I drank coffee, I would be more obnoxious than I already am. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah. It was evident when your girlfriend brought us to the airport at like 3:30 in the morning to go to Dallas. That like I was awake, Jacob was awake, Zach is always silent, but like, and we were like pretty pumped up because we're going on a trip, and Catherine was like driving us to the airport. It's like, oh, she's not a morning person. I was like extra thankful. I'm like, thank you for everything. It's like, I'll make sure Jacob.
Well, at least I can recognize, like, to read the room sometimes. Like I'll talk, but then I'll be like, okay, this guy's not interacting. He's tired. I'll leave him alone for a little bit. That's why, like, on the plane when you took your like medication for like motion sickness. I was like, all right, I'm not going to bother this guy. He's asleep next to me. Best plain wombo combo dynamic duo you can ask for. Because
dude, I was like zombified and then out like a light. I was like in a coma for 3 hours.
I woke you up like 20 minutes before the plane landed. Just be like, hey, Vern, plane's landing. And you were like, all right, I'm up. And that was it. It was perfect. It's like the smooth transition.
It's like a light switch.
Exactly.
I'm off and we're here. Okay, back on.
But apart from the movies I've been watching and the shows, in terms of like games,
what other show did you just finish?
I just finished Loki, actually.
Hey-o, let's go.
I like that show.
I know I'm a little behind.
That's okay.
I knew it was important for discussions about Marvel phases. And I watched it, and I have to say it was super, super well done. I think it went into a lot of directions that probably weren't extremely predictable unless, you probably are a deep comic book fan. And that's what I like. I like shows that kind of keep you on your toes, make you kind of guess. And if you're wrong, it's a little more exciting when you're wrong because then you're just really surprised about where the plot takes you, which is what I liked about Loki, especially with the ending.
Yeah, I feel like episode 4, it redirected you big time. Like episode 3 was like, oh shit, all these people are variants. Then like, so something's up with the TVA. Episode 4, oh my god, the what do they call them? The tribunal or something? I forgot the
timekeepers. The
timekeepers are fucking fake, right? And then you're like, what the fuck is the TVA then? It's like, what is this? When that blew my mind, the end of episode 4, and then by the end you're like, but who is this guy? Who's Kang? Who is he who remains? What is happening?
Spoiler alert warning before we really got into it.
Oh, I don't care. No. At this point,
it's a little late. Like
we have a 2-week minimum. We do a 2-week no spoilers. After 2 weeks, like if you're a Marvel or Star Wars fan or a show fan, and your show comes out and you don't watch it in 2 weeks, like you already know what happened because it's called internet. You know what I mean? Like, you can only stay away from the internet so long to spoil something. Like, I'll take a week to start a show, and like I'll see one image, and it's something that like isn't like a whoa moment in a show, but it's like it gets your mind thinking like, well, what's going on there, and like takes you away from it. So like after 2 weeks, no spoiler tags are needed.
That's fair. That's fair.
Because like if it matters that much to you to not get spoiled, you would have seen it already.
It's like Andrew Schultz saying, if his special was on Netflix, everybody would be like, oh, I'll get to it. Instead, he makes it an instant premiere show and a countdown to it, and fucking 600,000 people watch it.
Yeah, I'll get to that in my week for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that, and so with Loki, I have to say I was really surprised that I had no spoilers for it because it was really good. I literally had no idea what was going to happen. And I know it came out a year ago, and I don't know how I dodged those spoilers, but I knew it was good.
Yeah.
The other show, I kind of had some spoilers, but I still was surprised with Stranger Things, which I just finished, like, I want to say a week and a half ago. And that, the writing and the pace, character development, the whole thing of that show took me back to good Game of Thrones before season 7 and 8.
Agreed. 100%. That's some of the best writing I've ever seen.
I wouldn't say it was best writing I've ever seen, but I will say it was more like
Mount Rushmore, I should say.
It was like it's transitioned from like the little kids from season 1 to like, all right, even though obviously they look way older because somehow you go from looking like an 8th grader, and then in one summer you now look like you're entering freshman year of college, even though they're only freshman years in high school. It's fine.
Yeah.
But just everything that happened, it was really good. I think it took the show in a different direction to what it started off as, and I think they did a great job again with the character development, the stories. Like there was a hook every single episode, I would say, like something that just made you want to keep watching. And
have
that's
you
what
seen WandaVision?
I have not actually seen WandaVision.
Oh my god!
So between WandaVision and Loki,
it's fine.
If I was gonna bully Fernando into watching one of them in a week, I was like, so that we could talk about Phase 5 and 6 stuff. And like he would understand what was happening. I would figured Loki was better, and I think that's true because like WandaVision is important.
I already know some spoilers about stuff, so
especially for like what happens in the movie whose T-shirt I'm wearing right now, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. This movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, is basically a sequel to WandaVision. So it's like a continuation of WandaVision's story,
and that's what I heard. And
but like the larger MCU of like what's happening is a direct result of what happens in Loki. So if we're talking about Phase 5 and 6, I wanted Fernando to know what happens in Loki, especially with like that He Who Remains, the guy at the end. That's Kang the Conqueror is his name in the comics. So like I'll talk about that when we get to the Marvel stuff, but yeah, so like I thought that was most important for you to like have a handle on and like not get spoiled, right? Because I mean, I'm glad you didn't, because that journey through Loki of being like not knowing anything about the TVA, and to your point, Fernando, like you were saying, maybe comics folks kind of saw this coming. That's not how it happens in the comics at all. So like He Who Remains, they meet him in a different way completely. Loki's not involved at all. That whole story is new.
Yes.
So Kang the Conqueror is obviously a character and like is involved in the multiverse and stuff. But how that happens is completely a new story. So like people who are familiar with the comics, like me or Marcus, like we had no idea what the fuck was happening too. Like the same way you were like what is going on? It's the same. All of us were like that. That's why that show's awesome.
I just also want to put it on the record. I thought Sylvie was pretty hot.
Oh yeah.
And I thought it was funny that Loki basically fell in love with Loki.
Yes.
And, I was
Very
like,
fitting.
wow, narcissism at its finest. This is phenomenal. You're
Yeah,
literally
agreed.
reaching out with another version of yourself. But the difference is it's not controversial like Game of Thrones. If you think about it. You know what I'm saying? So I thought it was good.
Well, Game of Thrones is...
Marcus didn't get into it, but...
I'm not a big fan of Game of Thrones.
What?
He's just not... He doesn't like a fantasy.
I'm not a knight in shining armor kind of guy at all.
You're a sci-fi guy, which I can understand, but it's still...
Does that mean you don't like Lord of the Rings?
He does, but not as much.
Like I'm a
You know?
Star Wars guy or like Battlestar Galactica or like Destiny guy. Like I like sci-fi. Like Lord of the Rings is fucking awesome. And I don't give a shit how many times I watch Return of the King. I am crying at the celebration of Gondor, right? Like I'm crying. Like there it's lights out.
Me too, man. I legit cried.
And
Like
yeah,
like
and when
when
Schmeagol
they're
falls
getting
in
on
the
boat.
fucking yeah, and when Schmeagol falls in the mountain, I laugh and say, "Rip that guy." You know what I mean?
Oh, it's like for my family, it's funny because with the way Return of the King ended, we've watched. It's like a Christmas tradition where we watch Lord of the Rings, like all the movies, over a few days.
Oh,
And
that's awesome.
when we get to Return of the King, it's always like, and that's potential ending number one, and then it just like keeps going. You're like, potential ending number two, because there's so many scenes at the end where they're like, you could just end it there, and you're like, all right, it was a great movie, and they just
I
keep
know.
going and
And
going.
they like wrap more things up and they wrap more
Yeah.
things. And it's like you could have ended. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Oh, it's
I really want to do a maybe this winter. I want to sit down and do an actual. So I have the director's cut of all three movies, which is like an hour longer for each one. So they're like almost 4 hours each one.
Wait, is that not the ones you normally watch?
No, that's what I watch now for sure.
Oh,
That's the only thing I watch. But what I want to do is I want to watch the director's cut back to back to back in one day.
Oh, it's so good. I mean,
Especially
those are
in the man cave at my dad's house. That's what I want to do.
yeah. No,
Just
those are those movies. If they ever tried to remake them, I think those are like the few movies that if they tried to remake them, it would be like
Yeah,
an
they
actual
can.
uproar from the public, get that shut down. There's absolutely no need for it because they still to this day hold up incredibly well.
Dude, because all the
effects
important CGI is practical effects. So
Yeah.
like all
We don't
the
even
it's
talk
all
about the Hobbit though. Hobbit, you know that
no,
that
Hobbit's
can just
trash.
No, that's
that
not
can
what
waste away.
yeah. But
That can
Just-
waste away and disappear. But
The Lord of
Yeah.
the Rings is good because it's classic and it makes sense and it was epic. They didn't cut any corners. Each story is fleshed out. Like clearly they didn't show the guy eating an apple. They might have skipped over that and just showed him walking down the path.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that's fine. But each movie was epic in its own way. And there was no corners cut. Just like I'm praying that Amazon doesn't fuck up the Ring of Power because like I am really looking forward to that. And honestly,
yeah,
like I would love to see a new like Lord of the Rings online MMO. And it's unfortunate that it got canceled. There's so many things, like so many games are being canceled. I don't know. But anyway, Lord of the Rings. Awesome. But I'm more of a sci-fi guy. It's okay.
Yeah.
But watch WandaVision. Like WandaVision is my favorite TV show of all time. Well, I
Really?
should say like the style of show is my favorite of all time. Like my favorite show of all time is Lost.
Interesting. Okay, I've never actually really seen Lost, but I know a lot of people like it.
Like
Lost is really good. It's
like,
slow. It starts slow like most shows, but it's good. If
But
you
it's like-
commit to it.
yes, you got to commit. Like that's a perfect you and your girlfriend or you and your wife watch show. You know what I mean? That's a show that you guys both watch together because like you're not going to want to miss the next episode. You're not going to want to watch episode 3 and then she's already on episode 5 and then you're watching episode 3 and she already knows what's happening. Like there's some fucked up shit that happens in that show, but it's like it's spread out, but over the course of a season. What did I watch? It's like I'm trying to think of what it would be. I don't know, but the show's fantastic.
Yeah, I've heard really good things. It's funny you say that because my girlfriend totally was telling me like we should watch Lost together. I'm like, oh, I don't know.
Well, if you don't do anything else, then if you watch a lot of content, it's a really good relationship. It's a really good relationship show because there's the guys that are there's going to be a guy in that show that fits your personality and you're going to be like, that's my guy. Where like there was a guy in the show that's a big fat dude like me and he like he's just a happy go lucky guy and like he fits my personality. And then there's like 50 different chicks in it that fit all the girls' different personalities. You know what I mean? So like it just works for people.
Yeah, you
So,
can
like, you
relate to it
attach
no matter
yourself-
who you are, pretty much.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
getcha.
See, that's the thing. I think that there's a lot of interesting TV, especially like with new shows coming out. I feel like the opposite has happened with video games recently. There's stagnation in some games, and it's literally like, all right, what do we do here? Okay, You want to
Right.
hop on this game with the guys again? Okay, sure. It's not like the same excitement when you're like, all right, boys, Modern Warfare 2 lobby, let's go, line up. Who's ready to play? It's now it's like, I guess we have Warzone, or I guess you can do Fortnite or
Don't
Apex or whatever.
ever talk bad about the Modern Warfare 2 lobby.
No, he was praising.
No, I'm saying he was good.
He was praising Modern
that's
Warfare 2.
saying like,
That's the excitement.
Marcus,
Modern Warfare 2
I heard it
lobbies.
a different way.
I'm sorry. No. Let me rephrase that. Modern Warfare 2 lobbies.
Don't apologize. Marcus didn't have his listening ears on, okay?
Yes, I did.
I'm sorry. Modern Warfare 2 lobbies is like, I got a test tomorrow or a project due. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to join with the boys for like 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to skip that shit. I'm going to stay up all night as late as I can. We're going to rip this. And then I'm going to wake up my mom at 11 o'clock, be like, hey, I forgot. I need some supplies for this project. Please help me out. You're the best. Love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, please help me. But Modern Warfare 2 is like awesome. Black Ops, great. Like, it was exciting. And now I feel like they've tried too hard. They haven't put as much actual quality into their products. All these games that are releasing just not as exciting as they used to be.
See, I actually disagree.
Okay.
I think the game,
with respect to Call of Duty, I agree with Fernando. But
well,
go ahead. Hold on.
There's other games that
I disagree. I think there is plenty of excitement in the Call of Duties. I think there's plenty of exciting in Apex, Fortnite, Star Wars: The Old Republic, but it's like when Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1 were out, that was it. Like the only other games you were playing was Sonic the Hedgehog or Elder Scrolls Skyrim or Fallout 3. You know what I mean? Like the quality of games then wasn't like what it is now. Like you have so many options of games to play. So you're spread out. Like I played Destiny 2 and SWTOR. Nick plays single player RPG games plus Call of Duty and stuff, but it's
yeah.
So how about this? I'll put it in my perspective. When I play Call of Duty with Nick and you guys, or my buddy Brian and his friends, it's like it was back in Modern Warfare 2 days for me because I don't do it a lot. So like an instant nostalgia trip. But if you're playing that game all the time or bouncing from first person shooter to first person shooter, it becomes just normal because there's so many games to play.
Yeah, I guess it's just more like the reason why I say that is because like you'll see a lot of remaster this, remake that, right? You have a remaster of Modern Warfare 1, Modern Warfare 2 remasters coming out, World of Warcraft. You have World of Warcraft Classic, Burning Crusade, and now Wrath of the Lich King. I'm like, okay, if you're really going back,
do you play WoW?
I played a lot of WoW.
You don't anymore?
No, I stopped at Cataclysm because I just got so bored because a lot of the classes, their roles and their actual like differences got blended in terms of what they can do. You know what I mean? Like,
you haven't played WoW since like 2008.
No, so I rejoined again in 2020 because I had some friends who were like, let's play again. And it was still fun, but I still felt like it was not as like hard as it used to be. In my opinion, like for example, WoW, Wrath of the Lich King was the peak in terms of most exciting, most fun, because there was still differentiation. It wasn't too hard where you weren't just grinding all the time for resources or material or mats, excuse me. You still could do the raids. You could still play. There was differentiation. It was exciting. Cataclysm still had a bit of that, but towards the end, it started meddling again where they introduced like all these new spells and abilities where it's like, okay, like a Rep Pally is the same thing as like a Rogue, which is the same thing as like Shadow Priest, because they all have like similar things, and you're just like whoever's actually better in their role probably takes a better spot, but it blends. And I think if you're going backwards with like, again, WoW, vanilla WoW, Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and then they're re-releasing them, it's because the people want something that's a little old in terms of the style, but like newer in terms of like,
because it's 15 years old. You know what I mean? Just like the Call of Duty. All right. Call of Duty is releasing Modern Warfare 2 again because they're using the same shit engine they were using in 2008. And because they're putting out a game every year, like they're running out of ideas.
Yeah.
And now what they've done is something that Nick and I said 7 years ago. They should release a Call of Duty every 2 years.
Yeah, now they're finally moving to that.
Right.
I agree.
So in my opinion, It might not be the next Call of Duty, the Treyarch one, or maybe it will be. It'll either be the next Treyarch one or the Infinity Ward after that. It'll be a brand new engine. That's I guarantee they're building an engine right now for it.
See, that's the thing. I was excited for Battlefield 2042 because I love Battlefield 2. Bad Company 2 was almost, I would say, the pinnacle of FPS.
Yes.
So with everything, it was fantastic. Then you have Modern Warfare 2, you have Black Ops 1 and 2, which are both good. I think Black Ops 2 is better than Black Ops 1.
Yeah, agreed.
These games were all great. And then suddenly it's just like everything just gets like, it's just like a fresh layer of paint over the same thing that they just released for more money. And you're like,
Well, it's corporate business, right? If they make a lot of money doing something, they're going to keep doing it until they don't make any money.
Right.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
And a good example of that, it's even worse than that, I think, with respect to Call of Duty. You have, after Black Ops 2, you kind of have those years where like you have like jetpacks and exosuits and shit, and you like the game kind of loses its base, right?
Well, it's because there were games coming out like
like Titanfall
and stuff like that.
I wish.
Yeah.
Titanfall could have been such a fantastic game, but they made mistakes. They released it, first of all, at the wrong time. They released it right around a Call of Duty release, which is like, you're not going to beat Call of Duty, so people aren't going to pay attention to that. So that was bad marketing all there. But then after that, NPCs, you don't need NPCs in your online games. Like that ruins it.
Well, there's bots in Battlefield.
Yeah, I haven't played a Battlefield where that happens because I think that
Battlefield
sucks.
4, there's bots.
They
don't fill the lobby.
I still played it when it was still, people were still playing it, so I never experienced the bots. And when I played Titanfall with the bots, I was like, dude, this sucks. I played a game called Brink, where
Brink. That's that was the other one I was going to say. Brink had really cool mechanics. You could vault shit.
Yeah, all the sliding and stuff. It was sick, especially as paintball players, where you do slide and stuff. It's not the same level,
but it didn't make it.
Exactly.
You can't compare with the big dogs.
And then the next Call of Duty that came out had sliding.
Exactly. It was sick, and it's like, well, let's just go back to Brink. But you would, at one point, there was a few people played Brink. It was good. You would still get some bots, but then you would enter lobbies where it was just basically like 80 to 90% bots, and you're like, wow, this is not as fun because bots are bots. They don't have that excitement level to the game that people do, and that's where the problem is. And that's why I think like companies start to look back and they start to look at trends, but they're starting to try and see how can we monetize these things. And like, personally, I would play WoW Classic for Wrath of the Lich King again because, like, again, that was like the best time for me. Games that like were fun but still challenging. And now I feel like they're trying to appeal to the common person because technology has become, I would say, more accessible for a lot of people. So they want to make things easier because if you didn't play WoW, like I would argue, if you didn't play WoW at the beginning in vanilla, you got into Burning Crusade or Wrath of the Lich King, which are the expansions after the original, you would be confused or you would be like, wow, this is hard. And then they were like, okay, a lot more people are starting to, computers, gaming, all this stuff. Let's make it more accessible, easier, make it less difficult to understand stuff. And that's where you kind of lose the players who put in a lot of effort into it. But then as people now have been playing games more, they're like, ooh, it's kind of boring. This is all easy. And they're like, oh, let's go back to like the other stuff because these people didn't experience it. It's like, why not make something original with that same concept in mind? I don't know. That's where I'm at with it.
Also, my final thought on this is I think for me, gaming has changed. Maybe it's because I'm old as fuck, but like,
you are indeed fossilized. Yep. Go ahead.
Yes, I know. It's fine. I got gray in the beard. I'm losing my hair. It's fucking fine.
Fox, don't let Vern bring you down. All right.
No, I don't let him bring me down. I got 2 awesome kids and they fucking wear me down. So anyway, what I was saying is I think now I like sinking my teeth into a game and not letting it go. Like, I don't want a Destiny 2 that comes out every year. I like having that game or two, or Star Wars The Old Republic is like a WoW clone, and playing that game for years because it's always going to be there. You gain friends from that. And like, I like being a better way to say is I like being a part of a community where like Vern or Nick likes single player.
I think it's the first time
RPGs.
I've been called Vern on the podcast.
I think this is the first time I've ever called you Vern. So what I was saying is like for me, like I like Mass Effect 2. I loved it. It broke my heart when that was over.
Yeah.
But like I feel like I'm losing a piece of myself when I finish a game. That's why I love all of these games that never end. You know what I mean? They just
that's why
it's a live service game. And
Absolutely.
And that's where like honestly, I would be super happy if they made like a Call of Duty MMO. Like you legit start off as level 1 and it's hard as fuck to level up. And the only way you level up is to use different guns with different kills and make ridiculous challenges. But the game never shuts down. And their skill-based matchmaking keeps the noobs away from the high skill players. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And make an MMO out of Call of Duty and it would fucking destroy this world.
See, I feel like that's what they're moving towards with Warzone and like the 2-year release cycle. They're trying to like
the
keep people around.
Warzone is that it's just a battle royale.
Yeah,
like you're not
it's
like
not like
there's not a gear level. Like you need a gear grind. You need like they have weapon grind, but like what if there's level 1, 2, and level 3 armor plate you can get. The more you play, a better armor plate you get. You know what I'm saying? And then obviously in ranked, everything is just one level. You know what I mean? I don't know. That's how I feel.
I just think like you can't do that with Call of Duty because it's based in our world, right? Like you can't really turn Planet Earth into too much of a fantasy unless you go into like the future. But
or you use your like, zombies mode for that.
Yeah, that's fair. But the game, like for example, I would love as an MMO StarCraft. If they had made StarCraft as a type of MMO game with like
StarCraft
races, StarCraft is a game like made by Blizzard.
It's real time, Nick. It's a real time strategy game. The story was amazing. But at the end of the day, a real time strategy game is a typing game. So you can imagine I was terrible at it.
Yeah, well, that's what Warcraft developed into World of Warcraft.
Oh yeah, yes.
So if a StarCraft game would have been, in my opinion, really cool. Yeah. With MMO stuff, you have Terran, Protoss, Zerg, lots of development there, lots of things to do because again, it's fantasy, it's sci-fi. You can change stuff, but Call of Duty is like, we keep going back to the modern, literally quote me, modern warfare. So people are just, it's the modern day. You can't really change stuff too much like that.
Well, let's just be really honest right now. They're doing modern warfare to sell copies. They're bringing all of the me's of the world back to gaming. Oh, there's a unicorn on my shirt.
Is it a sticker from your daughter?
Yes, it's a sticker from. I didn't know it, and I was like just feeling my shirt. I was like, "Oh shit, there's a unicorn on my shirt." Anyway, I just think that they're only bringing carbon.
I know. Back. No, I honestly, I really like their masks. I like their packs. I like their jerseys. I like their knee pads, and I will save the 2 products I do not like for in my head because we are sponsored by Carbon.
Have a sponsor who supports us.
Yes, they support us, and I'm thankful for how they support us, and I will keep my lips shut on that one.
I actually see that's a terrible sponsor. You should be able to voice your opinion. You just said,
I do privately.
Well, no, but you should say it publicly too. Like if you say, "Hey, I like this, 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 I like this. I don't like the pants and I don't like their pod packs." There's nothing wrong to say with that. Or I don't like their socks or I don't like their knee pads. Like there's something like as a consumer, if I'm going to buy Carbon products, I want to hear what you say because I want to know. Just like if I told you, "Hey, Nick, go buy an AMD GPU."
Oh, fuck you.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Well, just because I'm sponsored by AMD, their processors are awesome.
No,
Well, no, they're not. But I'm
No, they're
just
not.
trying to make my point.
Yeah.
Like,
no,
just
no,
because you're sponsored by a company, you should be able to say, "Hey, look at, I personally don't like their pod packs, or I don't like their pants," and there's nothing wrong with that. Just because you're sponsored by them doesn't mean you have to love every single product.
no, that's
Out
true.
of 10, if a company has 10 products, if the 8 out of 10 products are good, that means they're rolling an 80% positivity rate. That's pretty good odds.
That's very true. I will say, in terms of positivity, their new mask that came out is dope as fuck. That is probably my favorite mask since a ProFlex. I've had a lot of masks. My one gripe is the lens seal that they use. You can get paint in it, and you can get some paint down the lens if you don't clean it frequently. So like if you leave paint on it, sometimes you can get a streak in between the two paints, and your lens is fucked. Other than that, like you wipe that thing with your the lenses with your hand quickly between points, you see out of it fine. It looks smudged when you look at it from the outside, but like when you wipe it with your hand, it looks perfect. It's the lightest mask I've ever worn. It's got like the face part is like super squishy, like a ProFlex. So like you get bounces off the face all the time. Visibility's great. It's like my favorite mask. I think it's my favorite mask I've ever owned. 100%.
That's great.
Like, they knocked it out of the park with the mask. But yeah
perfect.
Mask is nice.
That's the end of my advertisement.
Nick,
for Carbon Paintball.
Nick, what have you been doing?
So I went on vacation last week, and I talked loud enough for Fernando's speakers to give me feedback. So no, I'm just kidding. Well, I did a little bit, but so last week I was in Maine on vacation with my family. I ate a lot of ice cream. I watched Andrew Schultz's special live the first Sunday, which was incredible. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end of my breakdown. But when I got back from Maine, wait a minute, hold on, let me reverse. So like every week I ask our guests what their favorite ice cream is, and I had my favorite ice cream this week in Maine. It is Scoop Deck in Wells, and it is consistently the best ice cream I've ever had. 100%. Like the product is unbelievable. I had peanut butter and jelly. So it was a peanut butter base ice cream with grape jelly swirl. And it's so I'm allergic to chocolate, which Marcus doesn't believe, but whatever. I'm allergic to chocolate, so I can't have chocolate ice creams. So I have to like get some funky flavors. Peanut butter and jelly was unbelievable. Like peanut butter ice cream with a grape jelly swirl, and it was incredible. I think I posted that in the Nerds community Discord. And then I also had a bunch of blueberry crumble, which was like what I've been listing as my favorite of all time. That's also wicked good. It's like a blueberry ice cream with blueberry like syrup swirl with like Fernando's on Instagram, I can tell. with cinnamon toast like crumble or something like that. And it's unbelievable. And they're smalls. Like you get a small ice cream from there in a waffle cone, and they fill the whole waffle cone with ice cream. And then they put a soft
Snapchats I got, it was the size of a newborn child.
And then they put a softball-sized scoop on top of the waffle cone after it's already filled with ice cream. It's ridiculous. So like, I posted a couple pictures to the Discord when I like actually got the small. The other days I had to get like a kitty, because like a kitty size in a cup, because like it's just insane. It's craziness, but unbelievable ice cream. If you're ever in Wells, it's well worth it. They also have like literally like 30 different custom flavors, and it's crazy. Also, I'm almost done with season 3 of The Boys, which is continuing to be incredible.
Oh, I need to watch that.
It's incredible. That's your next. Yeah. That's your next homework assignment.
That is the next show. That is the next show.
I'm on episode. I'm in the like 3/4 of the way through episode 5, I think 5 or 6. I think it's episode 6. Whatever one is entitled Herogasm.
Great show.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Fantastic.
No spoilers because that's fairly new. But I also, of course, had stream on Monday when I got back from vacation, and I'm continuing the Witcher 3 story, which is continuing to be absolutely epic and probably in contention for my favorite game of all time. Stream this week was wicked fun. There was a ton of people in there watching, which I'm super appreciative of. Thank you all for watching and coming down. That always makes it way better when I have people interacting and chatting. And so this week on Wednesday night, as you know, Marcus and I get together with my dad, Storm and Norman, Marcus's uncle, my father, to just like watch some kind of content on Wednesday nights. It's like guys' night. So we kind of went a little above and beyond. We had like appetizers with like burrata cheese and these like crazy oven baked or oven roasted tomatoes and stuff, and like these like ciabatta like breads to like dip it in.
I got the snaps.
Crab dip, strawberries,
crab dip, strawberries.
A customer of mine makes his own supersad. It's like the Italian sausage.
Oh.
And it was like we like literally hung out for like an hour to an hour and a half just chatting, having a beer, just shooting the shit, laughing our balls off. And then
so like, okay, so if you're not familiar with comedians, Andrew Schulz, go look him up. Andrew Schulz is one of my favorite comedians of all time. Before I ever watched this special,
I'm going to say disclaimer: if you're easily offended, do not watch this.
Okay.
Yeah, he's funny. Definitely finds that line, looks at it, stares it right in the eye, and goes, let's cross this. Just a little bit. But he is
just a little.
Just a little. A little?
Well, yeah.
He jumps right over it.
He runs the mile.
Yeah,
but
he blows a kiss at the line as he leaps over the top.
Well, no, and I agree, but
but that's my favorite kind of humor. Like,
that is my humor.
I like push
dark
the envelope.
Humor.
Yeah,
I agree. I like the dark humor. He's very funny. Vern has sent me a few clips. He's hilarious.
I like when somebody is out of control as a comedian because it's jokes. They don't mean it.
Right. Like that's why it's funny, because they say horrific things and that they do not mean, and that's why it's funny. You know, I like humor like that.
So, and I'm never offended at all.
Yeah,
like,
me neither.
You can say whatever the fuck you want to me. I have thick skin, but like that,
especially in comedy,
listen,
in comedy especially. But go ahead.
I was laughing so fucking hard last night. And
I want to talk about
you were drinking beers. Like I literally had one beer. Like that's it. And that shit was so funny. I was laughing my balls off.
Yeah. That was the second time I saw it. So I watched it. So let me explain the background. So Andrew Schulz, wicked funny comedian. He was putting on a special on a quote streamer, but you figure out it's Netflix. So he's putting out a special with Netflix, and how it works is they see your work, they know you're a good comedian, they're going to pay for a special, and it was like a couple $1 million. I think the rumors are like $3 million, and they pay you on the front end. You go shoot it. You know, they'll give you resources to shoot it or whatever, and but they don't know the content until you present it to them after. So because they want to like give you creative freedom or whatever. So he shoots it in like fall 2021. Gives it to Netflix, and they go, "Oh shit, we can't put this out." So like, what happened was Dave Chappelle caught so much flack for his trans jokes on Netflix, on his Netflix specials, that like Netflix as a company became sensitive to like public backlash. So like,
understandable, right?
I get it. That's a lot of heat.
And I'll say this about like the Dave Chappelle thing. Like I watched that, I didn't even find that special funny. It was almost like he was preaching.
Yeah.
Right. Like I didn't enjoy that special. Like if you're gonna make jokes, you make jokes. But like preaching about something, like he was like talking to people, but it wasn't funny. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So because of that backlash from that, and like whatever, I don't care. But Netflix was like scared of something out that might have been a little controversial. Right. And Andrew Schulz was like,
so Andrew Schulz filmed it and recorded it in the fall. Then like it was right to put this out right as that Roe v. Wade reversal decision came out, and he has a good probably 15 minutes of abortion jokes, which are very funny and I think tastefully done. I think he plays both sides of the equation, and it's fucking hilarious. The whole bit is hilarious, but they wanted him to cut, like, if it's an hour special, they wanted him to cut like 15 minutes. So he's like, fuck you. Yeah. I'm not cutting any jokes. This is comedy. This is what comedy's for. I'm making jokes. It's supposed to be funny. So
he has definitely skyrocketed out of like, you know, recently with these specials and stuff, out of like popularity and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I think it's just like reflective of people having a dark sense of humor.
It's comedy.
I'm going to say, here's what I'm going to say. The difference is you can go no holds barred when it's your own. You know what I mean? You can go no holds barred, But when you're a part of a corporation, they have stocks, they have
I totally
they have a
understand.
bottom
Netflix
line. And if they don't, if Netflix doesn't want those type of jokes, I get it. Like I'm completely fine with it. You know what I mean? Like if that's the way you want to do your comedy, okay. But like he bought the rights back and he was like, look, I'm not doing it. I'm standing behind my product and I'm going to put it out myself. But
and he did.
Netflix was like, Netflix let him out of his contract.
Yeah. So he bought. So what ended up happening is they said, hey, we need you to, if you were going to put it out with us, you need to cut this content. He said, no, I'm not. I'm keeping my creative integrity. I'll buy it back. So he paid them back the whatever. The rumor's $3 million, but that's, just a rumor. But anyway, they paid him back the giant sum of money, right? And then put it on Instagram and said like, hey, and YouTube, it said, hey, I was going to put out the special. Here's the deal. I had to buy it back. They wanted to cut content. I'm putting it out myself. It's going to be a pay-per-view event. You're going to get it this Sunday. I think it was July 12th or something like that. It's like, it's going live at 9 p.m. Was like, buy it for $15 and help me make my money back. And then it ended up being like, you can watch it for like a month or something like that. So I bought it. So I like Andrew Schultz. So I saw this post. And I was like, fuck yeah, I'll buy it. It's like, I personally, I don't like censoring comedy ever. Like, it's supposed to be funny. If it's terrible, people won't watch it. You know what I mean? But so I like Andrew Schultz anyway, paid it, watched it on vacation. It was hilarious. It was one of my favorite comedy specials of all time, probably my top 3 of all time. And then like went on vacation, came back, and this Wednesday I knew my dad and Marcus would like it. So I was like, so that's what we're watching. So I played the replay for them and they absolutely loved it.
So you basically used your family, lured them in with snacks, and put on a comedy show you wanted to see.
Oh, I already saw
using
it.
them as a scapegoat, again, with snacks to make sure that they want to watch it. No, it's cool. It's cool, Vern.
Yeah, snacks and alcohol can get you. It's very motivating. It's how I lure him in to see movies too.
It was fucking funny.
No, it was really funny.
No, he's great. He's really good.
I enjoyed it.
But that's a high energy comedy show that makes you laugh. Where like
everything he said was fucking hilarious.
Right, where that Dave Chappelle comedy show, it wasn't funny because it was just blah. Like you weren't fun. It wasn't funny. You know what I mean?
It wasn't as funny. It had some funny moments, but it was mostly like a
Debbie Downer,
a sermon almost. It was weird.
Yes, exactly.
All hype from the controversy. Not as good as it could have been or should have.
No. Honestly, this Andrew Schultz special is available till July 31st to buy on his website, theandrewschultz.com. It's honestly well worth the $15. Not a sponsor or anything, just a creative person I really enjoy. If you think you're gonna like this pretty controversial humor, worth it. It was one of my favorite.
But is it controversial? Like I don't.
Not really.
Like I'd hear 0 people on the internet saying cancel this guy because I don't think he was offensive.
No, he's not like I agree.
Dave Chappelle is offensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like he's offensive. Where Andrew Schultz was not offensive. Like he made rude jokes, but he wasn't offending people.
Right.
And he was out of control. From that 1 hour was an intense hour. Anyway, moving.
Yeah. My last note is the most impressive piece of that for me was his crowd work. So like if you're not into comedy lingo, crowd work is like you're just see somebody in the crowd and you start commenting on them or ask them a question. You're interacting with the crowd. It's impromptu, so you haven't written anything ahead of time. So like he has like probably 5 little like crowd interactions that are also hilarious. So like normally if you see somebody do comedy like on YouTube or something and the crowd work can like be hit or miss and they're finding stuff and like obviously they cut stuff together for the special, but like even the crowd work that is in the special is really funny. So like his prefabbed or like his bits that obviously are part of his show are amazing, but then his crowd work is really good too. So yeah, I wholly recommend going to check that out. AndrewSchultz.com or theandrewschultz.com. But anywho, Marcus, how's it going? What have you been up to? In full disclosure, I'm going to run and pee because Fernando maybe drank more of this margarita than I normally would. So I got to pee. I'll be right back.
That was your own fault. You're not playing the game.
I agree.
So it actually worked out well because Nick and I were on vacation the same week. So I was in Rhode Island, he was in Maine. So it was fantastic because like it's always tough for the podcast when he goes one week and I go the next, because then we have to like try to record an extra episode in like a double episode week, because we never want to go 2 weeks without a show.
Okay.
And it worked out really well that we didn't have to do that. And so I got anytime, like I work so much, I talk about it all the time. I work so much that anytime I get to spend a whole week with my kids on a beach is amazing. It's amazing. Like anything I can do for one full week is amazing with the kids. Nick, I was just saying how this year's vacation was completely awesome because we were on vacation at the same time and we didn't have to like try to squeeze in a double episode of the podcast.
Yeah, we were just like, all right, look, we're on vacation. It is what it is.
It worked out perfect. It's like it couldn't have worked out perfect because we recorded the week before and then boom, we missed a week and now we're back in business.
It's not like we were on like I was on vacation 1 week and you were on vacation the next week, so it was like 2 weeks of like not having us, or like I was here and then you were here. Oh, I was here only, or you were here only, and it was it worked out great to be synced up separately, but.
So in streaming has been super fun since I've been back. Like my welcome back stream last Sunday was fucking amazing. Like there were so many people that showed up. We had so much fun. It continued into Tuesday. Like we had so much fun. Like I feel like I'm finally finding the content creator that I'm meant to be, or streamer that I'm meant to be in Destiny. And it's not a super serious streamer. Like I'm not the best. I'm not trying to be the best. I'm more of like the community guy. Like you want to come play Destiny with me? Oh, I want to do Crucible tonight. Let's do it. I don't give a fuck if we win or lose. Oh, you want to do strikes? Let's do strikes. You want to do this? Great. You want to do hard content? I can't guarantee that I'm going to be good enough for us to win, but like, let's go. Excuse me. So for me now, I've been having a lot of fun with stream. Speaking of streaming, something funny happened today. So my son's sick, so I had to do full gymnastics duty with my daughter. Yeah. And I told her, I was like, we're going out to dinner. I said, so every time I have my kids and it's after something, like after gymnastics or something, we always do an adventure. There's always a place we have to stop. And I make sure of it because like gives them life experience. Like, hey, I have to go to Home Depot for work stuff, or I have to go here. Like you're coming along. Let's go. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah, it makes them realize like, hey, like it's not all just fun and games. Like sometimes you got to take some time to do some life stuff.
But I label it as an adventure.
Yeah.
I just take them.
Subtle things that they'll remember.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So she says, as soon as she goes, so when we were on our way to gymnastics, she goes, what's our adventure today? And I said, it's funny. We have to go to two places. We have to go to Home Depot because I'm buying some wood. I'm building my kids a lemonade stand tomorrow night. So,
wow.
And I'm going to have it on wheels. So like, cause we live on a cul-de-sac and the main road is probably like 150 yards away. So I'm going to have it on casters so we can wheel it out to the main road on the sidewalk and they can do the thing and then we can push it back. You know what I mean? Well,
obviously let me know when you have the lemonade stand. I'll stop by.
So I'm guessing lemonade will be for sale on Sunday. Cause I'm working on Saturday and I'm going to give them the paint to paint it on Saturday. So like
ready to rock for Sunday.
Yeah. So it'll be full lemonade stand, full effect come Sunday.
Perfect.
And then I had to go to a customer's house because they wanted to pay me. So I dragged her along with me for that. But my point is it's always about the adventure. So, but I'm circling back. So I said to her, like, where do you want to go? You want to go to Red Robin? You want to go to 99? What do you want? She's like, can we go to Chick-fil-A? And now I'm just letting you guys know, I've never gone there and ordered. Like if I've ever eaten there, like my wife would give it to me. You know what I mean?
She would like get it for you essentially.
Yeah. Like she'd be going
or like mobile.
Well, yeah, something. So I've never actually like ordered there. Okay. So I said to my kid, I'm like, so what do you get? She's like, a chicken sandwich. I'm like, do you get anything on it? She goes, chicken. I was like, so I'm at the guy talking to the guy, and he's like, do you want pickles on it? And I would look in the back, you want pickles? She'd say no. So anyway, and she was like all pissed off because she's like, you didn't get me a milkshake. I was like, do you have milkshakes? And the guy looks at me like, bro, where the fuck have you been? Like
Dude, it's Chick-fil-A. How do you not know what the menu is?
Exactly. And I'm just like, I have no fucking clue. Anyway, so like the way it works is you order from the dude and then you drive up and talk to another dude. Right.
Yes.
So that guy, first thing he says to me, he goes, PC or console gaming?
What? In the Chick-fil-A line?
Yes. Like the guy working there. I was like,
what were you wearing for a t-shirt?
Work shirt. I was filthy.
Okay.
I was just in my truck. So he's like, PC gaming or console gaming? I was like, PC. He goes, Xbox or PlayStation? I said, duh, Xbox. The controller's the best. And he's like, all right, just so you know, right now we're split PC gaming and console gaming. And right now, why are there so many people that love the Xbox? And I was like, yeah. I was like, maybe because you can get it. The PlayStation controller is the worst controller ever created.
All right, relax. It's not that bad. They made it way better.
Listen, I would take a Super Nintendo controller over a fucking
Okay, that's an exaggeration.
Right. No,
you are lying to yourself and you know it. You cannot sleep at night.
The only good PlayStation controller is the Astro one because you can move the thumbstick.
Yeah, but that's not a PlayStation controller. That's a
every PlayStation controller is JUNK.
All right.
This is just hate. Just hate.
Let me clarify. For the record, I do prefer the Xbox controller to the PlayStation, but the PlayStation controller is not that bad. It is like 1A and 1B at this point.
Yeah, they've made them pretty similar, I would say.
Yeah.
This is just like the classic Xbox versus PS4 or Xbox versus PlayStation thing.
Well, actually, you know, it's not even that for me. I'll give you the thing. Why I don't like Sony is because they don't release their games on the PC on launch. Xbox, any game that's going to the Xbox and Xbox exclusive, it releases on the PC. And then what happens is Sony's too high and mighty, which they don't understand that if they sell it on the PC and the PlayStation, they're going to make double the money. But see, they don't want their first party games to have to port both copies. You know what I mean?
Not wrong there. I will give you a good point. There are definitely times where, because I'll say, grew up a Nintendo fan. Then, from my experience as a kid, I felt I aligned more with the stuff on the PlayStation, just from the games and my friends who had them. But I will say, Xbox definitely has more versatility of like they expand their range so much more, which I think is great. And there are times where I'm like, why is this game that's like a Sony game like not on the PC? Like for example, God of War. I'm like, why didn't that not initially just like release on the PC? Because like, why not? Why not reach a wider audience?
Well, I can answer you why. Because if you release God of War on the PC on launch, the PC version is going to be better than the PlayStation version.
Yeah,
immediately.
And it'll make people not want to buy a PlayStation.
That's correct. Because what do you need a PlayStation for if you can buy it on a PC?
My main motivator to get a PS5 is to play the exclusives. Like I want to play.
Right, exactly. No, but that's
Horizon
what I'm saying.
Forbidden West. I want to play.
Horizon Forbidden West will be on the PC. You'll be able to get that.
Yeah, but it'll be in a year. You know,
Thor Ragnarok or God of War Ragnarok or whatever the fuck it's called.
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah.
God of Thor Ragnarok.
God of Thor.
Oh my God.
But like that, it's going to look amazing on the PlayStation 5. But then wait until what it looks like on the PC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But anyway,
100%.
So I've been having a lot of fun with all that. I'm finding my niche. The Chick-fil-A guy. I thought like I was like thinking in my head, I'm like, what's this guy asking this for? But that was his like shtick for the day, right? He's like, I'm just asking everybody. I'm like, all right, this guy's pretty cool. And it just proves that how many people play video games.
It's awesome.
Yes. Also today, I'm going to get into it in a second. Star Wars: The Old Republic had their big live stream. I'm doing my quotation marks of finally.
Okay.
So they're coming August 2nd. Game update 7.1 is coming. So they did a live stream breaking down all the things that are coming out in the game, which it was a really good live stream. I liked the new, like they did it differently. It was almost like a Twitch. Well, it was on Twitch. Don't think I mean it like that, but it was less like live stream, like officey, and more like a Twitch streamer's stream. You know what I mean? Like when they were talking, they were in the front and center. And when they like had stuff to discuss, like the PowerPoint was on the screen, but just their bodies were like where like a normal streamer would be in like the screen, like in the bottom right hand corner. So like the quality of the stream was fantastic. They did a great job. They gave everybody a stronghold decoration, which you can redeem by August 8th. Birthday. It's a Darth Malgus wall like poster, and the redeem code is LOTS Malgus, LOTS MALGUS. So you go to the website, get it. Anyway, so
the Sith Malgus.
Yeah, so what's coming in this game update is the new operation to Fernando. It's a new raid. It's called the R4 Anomaly. They talked about the 4 bosses that are coming. You're going to be able to get a random dropping, like an RNG mount if you beat it in the hardest difficulty, which is veteran mode, for this operation to start. So it's going to be a random chance. So you're going to have to keep doing the operation for the chance to win this mount, which is going to become like the Wings of the Architect or any other mounts that are really hard to get. There's a new daily area of Manan, where that is where the story took place for the expansion or game update. There's going to be new rewards. They're doing a few quality of life changes. I personally believe like the quality of life changes, like the thing they're doing for colorblind, for the people who are colorblind. I think that's awesome. Everything else is just filler to me. It's just filler.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we can make this really quick in like 3 hours. So let's throw it in the game update. That's how I felt. But the one downside, well, there was a positive and a negative. So Charles, the creative lead writer for BioWare, is leaving the studio as of August 2nd.
Charles Boyd, yeah.
Yeah, Charles Boyd. So they introduced the new lead writer and another writer, and that was pretty cool. So you kind of like, hey, he's leaving, but we're here too. You know what I mean? Kind of a situation.
Yeah, there's not nobody here. It's the changing of the guard kind of thing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So he said his goodbyes, but in the live stream, when he said his goodbyes, what was cool about it is he kind of dropped some hints of what's coming soon. And which is cool. Like, I'm happy that they announced what's coming. I wish they were like, hey, coming in 2022, game update 7.2. You know what I mean? Or like before the end of the year, 7.2. Like
something more concrete.
Yeah. Like that's one thing I was looking for, because they've been talking about game update 7.1 for like 3.5 months. So it's like, yes, you're giving us a live stream of everything that's coming out Tuesday, but we've been discussing this for 3 months. So it's like already old content in my mind. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you've heard about it already. Yeah.
But like, hey, but just saying, like, while we were waiting for Fernando to figure out how to turn on a microphone, I logged into SWOTOR and just kept playing. So for me, like, the live stream did me good because I logged into the game. The last thing I'm going to say is this week at Bungie's TWAB, I highlighted a bunch of things, Nick,
that I have to read now.
Yeah, because like there's some cool things coming that Bungie announced. And as you guys know, I do play both games. So when I care about 2 games, that's it. I'm sure before I move off Star Wars: The Old Republic, next Thursday night, Jackie, the community manager for BioWare, is coming on the show.
Oh, so yeah. I got to be presentable.
Yeah. So
that's going to be hard.
I'll put on I know. I'll put on my clip-on tie and everything.
We should, dude.
My clip-on tie to the
Like,
Hawaiian shirt.
Dude, I'm gonna be honest. Hey, we should dude. Like, we should 100% wear like a suit coat with a tie.
I can do that. I'll just wear no pants.
Yeah, no pants. Like we're driving in an X-wing. Like we'll just have the top on. So like that's what people see.
Yeah.
I think we should totally do that. We'll talk about that more.
Vern, you should consider a haircut too. I don't know.
I just got my fucking haircut, you asshole.
Anyways,
yeah.
So Jackie's coming on the show next week. That's going to be great. We're going to be talking to her about community management. We're going to be talking about the excitement of 7.1. I'm hoping maybe we can maybe squeak in an answer about like an estimated time for 7.2.
Oh yeah, we'll be hitting the hard hitting questions.
Oh yeah, like Nick and I are not afraid to ask a hard question.
I mean, what's the worst case? What's the worst thing that can happen? You know,
they can't answer it.
Right.
Like, we're never offensive, but like, we're not afraid to ask something that the community wants. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
We're
here for you.
Yeah, exactly. So we got a big, really cool 2 pieces of awesome news from Bungie. So Nick.
So this week at Bungie, we're planning a raid date night. Happy solstice, everyone. The bonfire is lit. There is grass in the tower, and Guardians are donning their new armor with the stats and glows to go with it. We hope you are enjoying your time at EAZ this year. That is not a half sentence. That's a whole sentence. So I said that weird. We have been tracking your feedback on what you are liking about the event, changes that aren't feeling good, as well as any improvements you would like to see added. Thanks for sharing your feedback and keep it coming.
I love it. I personally love it. Like, they give you an event card with basically the challenges you have to do, and it's not on the gear, so you can just click on what it is and you see the get 300 kills with a hand cannon, get 200 kills with a shotgun. You know what I mean? Like, there's things that you have to do, which is awesome. Anyways.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Nick. Sorry.
So it says, we've got a busy TWAB planned for you today. Excuse me. As promised, we will be going over the launch date of the next raid and then also talking over some matchmaking changes rolling out in Season 18 and Season 19. So let's get into it. Excuse me. I seem to be... I have the Marcus B814 burping trait equipped.
I am not burping.
No, I know, but I am. So like you usually do is what I'm trying to say. So raid the date. So coming up in Season 18 will be our second go at bringing a raid out of the Destiny content vault. And this time it's going to be redacted. Sorry, we're saving the reveal of which raid is coming to Destiny 2 for our Destiny 2 showcase on August 23rd. But we wanted to make sure you had time to make any arrangements necessary to be ready on day 1. So request that time off from work, hire a babysitter, but don't skip school, please. Your education is important. Redacted. Raid goes live at 10 a.m. Pacific time, also known as 1 p.m. Atlantic time on August 26th, 2022. Because this will be a raid that many of you are already somewhat familiar with, we will be changing up the world first race a bit, similar to how we did with Vault of Glass. Here is what to expect. The raid, whoops, I just hit a button. I didn't mean to. The raid will launch with contest mode enabled for 24 hours. You'll need to be at the 1560 power to be at the cap for all of the encounters. Clearing the raid with contest mode active is the first step to access the new challenge mode in the director and the special triumph for completing all of the challenge triumphs for each encounter. Completing the secret triumph, a curated list of challenges is in this newly unlocked challenge mode, will be how a fire team crosses the world's first finish line and claims their prize. So, interesting. So you have to beat it in a special way that gets all the challenges. To enforce the triumph requirements in the challenge mode, your team will wipe if you fail the success conditions during any encounter.
Wait a minute. If you read up, it says completing the secret triumph. So they're not telling you what that triumph is going to be. So you're going to have to find it. Oh, that's interesting.
Clearing the raid with contest mode in the first step is to access the new challenge mode. Okay. Okay, so you got to clear the raid in contest mode first, right? And then you unlock challenge mode, and the special triumph for completing all the challenges. Okay, completing this.
So basically, you're going to have to do the raid twice.
Yeah,
but
you
the
do the raid-
second
you do-
time you're going to have to do challenges. Like everybody can't die in an encounter or something like that.
Yeah, or like everyone has to clear with sidearms only or something.
Right,
crazy.
exactly, something.
Yeah. So, Buffalo, Fernando.
Anyways,
back to the ranch. So challenge mode and secret triumph will only be available for the first 24 hours, so make haste if completing it is on your bucket list. The first fire team to do so will be declared the world's first winners, pending a review from our team. If everything checks out, the final 6 members of the winning fire team in the activity will be awarded the coveted raid belts as a monument to their achievements, and good luck.
That is amazing. Like they actually make like WWE raid belts.
Champion
and
belts.
Like 6 people that clear it get the belts.
Like discount double check belts.
Yeah.
Making matches starting in season 18. We will be introducing some changes in how we play matchmaker in the Crucible. This will be the first iteration that is part of a larger plan going through season 19. Our world systems teams are leading the charge on this transition and are here with a big info dump on what to expect.
So
you want me to go through this or no?
No. So basically they are bringing back skill-based matchmaking.
Okay.
Which they took that. So the biggest streamers and the biggest content creators and the biggest sweats in the game were complaining, I guess. And this is before my time playing the game.
Yeah.
They were complaining that it took too long. Like they were sick of just playing the best of the best, and they're like, kill deaths, we're getting ruined, blah, blah, blah. So they cried enough, and Bungie took out skill-based matchmaking so they could, like, the best players ever could just go against me, who is terrible, and just own me.
Yeah. Anytime I played PvP Destiny, I got destroyed also.
But what I read was like Crucible is one of the most popular things in Destiny, and when they did that, it went down to like the only like 5% of the game, the player base played Crucible because they took it out.
Because only the top 5% actually enjoys it.
Right, exactly. So they're bringing it back, which is, to me, I always say skill-based matchmaking is the best. Yeah. Because like if you're a new player or terrible like me, like I'm going to play terrible people like me. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I feel like that's what makes your experience better. Just like in Call of Duty, if you're playing with a few friends and everybody we're not too good, like it's fun to just get paired with people who are equal to us.
Yeah.
It sucks when like you bring in your one friend that's really good and it fucks up your lobby because like you're the guy that you're all of a sudden you're like, dude, I can't even leave the spawn and I'm getting sniped from like a mile away. So, when
I played with Marcus, that was me, unfortunately. Marcus would be like, dude, I can't even leave the spawn. I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, headshot.
Yeah, like I was just dying, which is okay. But
but what's crazy is like when I would play with my friend Al, it was the opposite. Like he was so much better than me that I'm like, dude, I can't do anything. I'm like 2-14 or something crazy.
Right. So
there's levels to everything.
But for me, I like skill-based matchmaking. I think it makes a better game. And I'm hoping that if this is their plan moving forward, hopefully it just makes the community, like the gaming community, that much better.
Yeah.
So votes are in. Last week, we revealed that 3 maps would be voted on by the community to determine this week's Trials of Osiris map. Eternity, Widow's Court, and Rusted Lands were all on the ballot. But there could only be one winner. And Eternity is the community picked map for Trials of the weekend of July 25th.
Eternity.
Results were Eternity 39%, Widow's Court was 31%, Rusted Lands was 30%. So believe it or not, it was really cool.
Yeah.
And other than that, I think it's really cool. And then they're releasing some new Prime rewards. So if you have Amazon Prime, there are some new rewards you can get. Blah, blah, blah.
All right.
Yeah. So, Nick.
Yes. Are you ready to talk about Marvel stuff?
Well, do you want to talk about that now, or do you want to
do that after the break?
Yes.
You know what? I think we should probably do that after the break. I feel like that'll be a nice. The pacing makes a little bit more sense.
Okay, great. So everybody, starting next Tuesday, is AIE's Summer of Love. And we're starting Tuesday, August 2nd with our Remembrance Day. So as you guys know, AIE is a greater gaming community. There's thousands of members across multiple games. And every year on August 2nd, we all get together and we do our Remembrance Day. It's to remember all of our gaming friends who have passed away, or even a family member. It could be your dog, could be anybody that was important to you that year that you kind of went away. In Star Wars: The Old Republic, we go to Alderaan and the top of the Jurin Mountains and look over stuff. And we do a guild town hall, and we all kind of talk about what it means to us. And we've had some real friends. Jana was a great friend of mine. She got me into raiding in SWTOR, and she passed away, I think 2 years ago or a year ago. And that shit sucks. I got to meet her in person, and we had a cup of coffee, and at Panera Bread, we met in person. That shit is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, Remembrance Day is super special, and it's one of the best events that our guild does, because it just brings the real into your gaming life. You know what I'm saying? And then the rest of the week will be filled with Summer of Love events. They're doing D&D games. There's going to be special events in all of the games. Next Tuesday, there will be no clan night in Destiny because I will be in Star Wars: The Old Republic. But other than that, I think it's going to be a really good year. And then Nick and my contribution to Summer of Love is we're doing a live episode of Working Class Nerds next Thursday. We'll be on the Twitch interviewing Jackie. So I'm super excited for it. So
if all this sounds fun to you, go to aie-guild.org. Get our Discord information in the top right hand of the website. Look for that purple Discord button and ask for a guild invite, whether or not you play Star Wars: The Old Republic or Destiny 2 or Pokemon or World of Warcraft or World of Warcraft Classic or StarCraft or League of Legends or any of the games that we play. We would love to have you. That's aie-guild.org. Get involved right now. Let's go.
All right. Well, Nick already buried the lead, but I know he has to go to the bathroom.
I definitely have to pee again, so we'll be right back.
Jeez, Nick, hurry up. We're trying to finish this podcast.
And we're back. So today we're talking about the new Marvel content that came out, the Marvel roadmap, if you will. Also talking about League of Legends and other MOBAs and just general gaming trends. And we're, of course, interviewing Fernando. So first things first, let's get into the Marvel content. Fernando, you just finished Loki Season 1, which really is the most important piece of content in Phase 4 to let you know what's happening in Phase 5 and 6. And this week at Comic-Con, at the Marvel panel, they released the why did this just pop up on my computer? They released the Phase 5 and Phase 6 roadmap for content.
Did your computer just ask you to extend your warranty?
Pretty much. It a pop-up came up. I was like, what is this? Microsoft Start. Kiss my ass.
You gotta get an ad blocker, Vern. You gotta get an ad blocker.
I know. So first things first, let's chat about Loki real quick. So we alluded to it a little bit, but I want to explain the larger implications of. So I want to explain larger implications to you in particular, Fernando. So you just watched Loki, so you know Kang is this person, he who remains, who kept that one sacred timeline together, right?
Yep.
So why don't you explain what you understand about that character? Sort of what? Explain the finale. How did you feel? How did that go?
Well, I personally thought he was a very interesting character. I think the actor did a good job of portraying someone who was a bit over the top. But when you're dealing with thousands and thousands and thousands, multiple versions of yourself, and suppressing them and living like that for eons, it was very interesting. And I think the show did a really, really good job of just kind of setting up these new phases of there's a lot of chaos that's about to happen, crazy stuff, the timelines and all that. And I think Kang the Conqueror, in perspective, just like the lines he had and what he was saying of just, I am suppressing an entire galactic war, which they alluded to at the beginning of the show of like, oh, there was like, there was
a multiversal war or whatever.
Multiversal war, and you're like, oh, how could this like go any? Glad we stopped it. This is cool. And the fact that, spoiler alert, it basically leads to another creation of a multiversal war. You're like, holy shit, this is nuts. Especially the ending where the transition is so smooth that when Loki does not realize he's basically entered, or he's in an alternated universe branch, whatever.
Yeah, when he comes back,
characters he thought he knew no longer recognize him.
Right.
And there's a statue of Kang the Conqueror. It was nuts.
Exactly. You're like, oh shit, I'm already in a different universe.
Yeah. And you just know that when there's no more information, you just see this statue of the same guy who you thought was super nice and just trying to control the world. And you knew that this meant there's a new universe. This dude is a fucking dictator in the worst way possible. Not that dictators are good, but it's like this guy, real bad.
Yeah.
It basically means like the next phase of stuff you're about to see is like real crazy in terms of universes where shit is not good at all.
Well, I thought that was I'm going to be really interested to see what happens in season 2 of Loki.
Yeah.
Because like when he came back and it's all changed.
What happened to Sylvie?
So Sylvie is presumably in a different timeline or something.
Yeah,
I think she's probably going to be in season 2. But like, so I think it's cool that like he remains as the Kang that like conquered the other Kangs somehow, right? Mm-hmm. And like you've got this sacred timeline, quote unquote. But I thought the coolest part about the sacred timeline is it's not really one timeline. It's like a donut of like acceptable variances. So it's like a bunch of different timelines and like different splits that are like are within one sort of like acceptable amount of variance.
Right.
And that's how you get like different Loki, you have variants people, like variant characters.
The thing,
so like,
oh sorry,
no,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say like the thing that like really surprised me was this idea that all the people working for the TVA are variants. So what did these regular people do to get them pulled to being a part of the TVA?
Well, it was nothing. They didn't do anything. They just picked people to become them so that they had workers that could protect the like. So if you think about what Kang the Conqueror was doing in Loki, and we'll get into phase 5, like he was protecting everything from keeping a straight path to not go like.
Yeah.
Now, like, look at what happened in No Way Home, Spider-Man, and then look at what happened in the multiverse of Evil Dead.
Oh God, come on. Which Fernando's not seen, by the way, so don't spoil it too bad.
Okay.
Fuck that.
I've seen spoilers. It's
if
fine.
He wants to see it, he would have already. But what I'm saying is, but again, the thing is now you see like how fucked up shit can be.
Yeah.
Like, I can only imagine how everything is going to be all messed up. But why don't we talk about what they announced?
Yeah. So in phase 5, they announced that Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to be the last piece of content in Marvel's phase 4, right? So which comes out, I think, in August.
I can't wait to find out who the new Black Panther is.
Me too. And I think that they released a trailer for it. I think it's either, I have a crazy theory like that Screen Crush and New Rockstars actually supported that they're going to revive. Fuck, I forgot his name. Michael B. Jordan plays the dude. No, that's not Michael B. Jordan. Is that Michael B. Jordan? What's the guy? Killmonger. Thank you. I think Killmonger's coming back.
That is Michael B. Jordan.
Okay, cool. Michael B. Jordan. Yeah, it's I think they're gonna revive Killmonger. I think Siri's gonna die. Who's like Black Panther's or T'Challa's sister. I think she's gonna die or like go to that ancestral plane and somehow like need to bring back somebody that can like revive Wakanda from like this war. So like let me backtrack a little bit. In the trailer, just to summarize, essentially they introduce these new characters, new race of people, the Atlanteans, and they've got their champion is Namor, something like that, who is the original Aquaman. So actually, Namor came out before Aquaman did for DC Comics, FYI, and he's their champion, and it looks like the Atlanteans are going to war with the Wakandans, and eventually the Atlanteans are going to flood Wakanda. So if I had to guess, the plot's going to be roughly that Ciri's going to die or get kidnapped. Then they're going to bring Killmonger back to be their warmongering champion, so they can actually conquer the Atlanteans and get over this. And I think that would be dope. It's either going to be, because I don't think Ciri's going to be Black Panther.
No,
I'll be surprised if
so
she
either.
is. It's not really in her character. She's like a very like tech
I think
savvy.
that would be
like,
a cop out. That would be a little bit of a cop out. Just make
Agreed.
it so easy, you know?
Yeah, because like it's supposed to be like this leadership figure, and Ciri's a very cool character and very important. I really hope she doesn't die and like is not in the story, because I think she's awesome. It brings a lot of value to that whole world. But I think it'd be weird for her to be a direct combat person. You know what I mean? Like Killmonger would be cool, and it would be a complex character because it's kind of an anti-hero, you know?
Yeah.
But like, and Namor's an anti-hero too. He's not really a good dude at all. And I think that I'm looking forward to this movie. I think it's going to be interesting. But so that's, anyways, Wakanda Forever is going to be the last movie in Phase 4. Then in Phase 5, we've got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, which is confirmed to have. I think they showed a closed trailer to just the people at Comic-Con, and Kang is all over it. He's definitely the bad guy, King the Conqueror, which is awesome. Because in the comics, he's got his city of it's not Necropolis, it's like Time Necropolis or something. I think it's just Chronopolis, where he's got like a city in the quantum realm, which is cool. Of like stuff he stole from all different realms of time. That cool. Like he has this cool city, and like you see it in the backdrop of like the first Ant-Man movie. Or Ant-Man and the Wasp, the second Ant-Man movie. So Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania comes out February 17th, 2020. Hold on, I need to zoom in.
2023.
2023. Then you've got a Disney Plus series, Marvel's Secret Invasion, which is cool because that's talking about all the Skrulls, and that's going to be a Disney Plus series. That's going to be spring 2023. So all the Skrulls have been slowly taking over, like replacing people, and that's going to be a much larger issue that feeds into Secret Wars later. So Secret Invasion is talking about the Skrulls. Then May 5th, 2023, you've got Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I am super fucking stoked about.
That's my biggest excitement. That one's hopefully so good, because all the Guardians of the Galaxy so far, like the first and second one, have been pretty
the best.
Yeah.
Guardians of the Galaxy is the best Marvel content in the movie form for me. Like Avengers Endgame, Ultron, all that was great, but like, again, I'm going to go back to like the way my mind is. I like even the way I'd stream. I'm lighthearted. Like that's what's awesome. Like they make you feel, they make you laugh. There's funny shit. There's like that really corny stuff. Like all of it is good. You know what I mean? So,
yes,
I'm excited.
Yeah. I enjoy Guardians of the Galaxy as well. It's not my favorite, but it's probably like top 3 or 5. So then summer 2023, afterwards, we've got the Echo series on Disney Plus. That's probably going to be like a 6 or 10 episode series about Echo, who's a character in Hawkeye that ties into the Daredevil universe as well. Then also summer 2023 is Loki season 2, which obviously we're all super looking forward to. That's probably my top 3 things I'm looking forward to. Top 2. That's my second most thing I'm looking forward to is Loki season 2. Then July 28th, 2023, we've got The Marvels, which is a movie featuring Captain Marvel. I forgot Fate. What's her name from WandaVision? Her best friend there.
Agatha.
No, not Agatha. She gets the also light powers. So you've got Miss Marvel, Captain Marvel, and Photon. Thank you. Photon is going to be in that movie, which is pretty epic. And then that's July 28th, 2023. Then fast forwarding to the fall, you've got a movie on November 3rd, 2023. It's Blade, which is alluded to at the end of Eternals.
Yes.
Which is fucking
Blade.
New Blade, which is dope. I forgot the name of the guy that's playing it, but he played Remy in House of Cards. Remember House of Cards, Marcus?
I think his name is Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali, something like that. Yes, he's an awesome fucking actor. He's got the post credit scene in Eternals alludes to him, and that's fucking dope. Spoiler alert, Fernando. Sorry, I know you're not gonna watch it. Whatever. suck less. Watch it sooner. So like you're gonna that leads to there's a team up it's gonna happen with like Blade, Moon Knight, the Black Knight, which is gonna be the Kit Harington's character from Eternals, when he gets that blade. It's a bunch of different characters, and I think in the comics, what's that Nick Cage movie where he's got the flaming skull head?
Ghost Rider.
I think Ghost Rider's in that team up too. But like, which I don't know if they're gonna do that. I'm just saying. But that's a cool like evil fighting team. Like they fight vampires and werewolves and shit. It's awesome. So I'm looking forward to that a lot because I like that whole world. I like vampires and werewolves, and I want to like that aspect. The monstery aspect of things is dope.
Yes,
I'm pumped that's getting involved.
Yeah.
It kind of like ties right into the witchcraft stuff, which is cool.
Yes,
too. Like a different flavor of magic than like the cosmic stuff.
And
so that's. Oh, go ahead, Fernando.
I was gonna say if the quality of what they've been doing with the other Marvel stuff is really good, then I think if they kind of enter this new realm, like you said, of like the witchcraft, like the darker stuff, I think it'll be really entertaining. You know, and Blade Blade is a series that the first one was good, and then it kind of like got a little bad. But if they can revive it with the quality they've been putting out there now, I think it'll be really interesting to see like a darker side of Marvel because Blade is, it's more of like a R-rated version of these things, just like how Disney Plus just released Deadpool. They're going to start entering into that territory of like the R-rated things that you have to say how old you are, blah, 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 but it's really good.
Well, young kids, I think there should be like, now they should set ages because like, my son, if he has the remote and he's 3 and he sees Deadpool, he will click it on. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I mean, in their defense, you can set up a pin and stuff.
Well, no, I'm saying, but like, I feel like almost like like Cartoon Network had Adult Swim. There should be a different section that you have to click on for like the more adult themed content.
Yeah. I mean, you can. I will say to Disney Plus's or Disney's defense, you can set that up.
Yeah, no, I yes, but that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I think like for example, I said like I think it started with the Netflix Marvel shows like Daredevil and Jessica Jones and stuff. When that got released on Disney Plus, I got an announcement when I logged in the next time after it came out saying like, "Hey, there's TVMA content on here now. Like, do you want to set up your account to be password protected? And or if you don't, then like we won't show you that content." So essentially like what you could do is like you have like the Marcus account, the Carrie account, and then like the Julian Ryan accounts. don't your kids don't have passwords on them.
Yeah, of course.
And they click it and they can't see the mature content. So like I think that's cool. You just gotta, it's a little work to set it up. But anywho, meanwhile, back at the ranch, phase 5 again in fall 2023, we're looking at a new Disney Plus series called Ironheart, and I was largely unfamiliar with this character. I assumed it was related to Iron Man. It kind of is. So it's actually a character from Wakanda. So that's going to be in this Wakanda Forever movie. It's one of like the Wakandan folks. It's a female character whose name I honestly don't remember, but she's like
we'll find out about it in fall of 23.
Well, yeah, we'll find out about it in the Wakanda Forever movie, but like it's because in the trailer you see that character punching out like a heart-shaped piece of metal, and apparently in the comics she's like super a giant fan of Tony Stark and like his accomplishments and scientific achievements, and like in the comics she bonds with him almost like a holocron type of way. Like she finds some like teaching hologram like class essentially that he has, and like that she builds her own like Iron Man style suit and stuff with Wakanda technology, and that's how that goes. And I'm looking forward to that. That's cool. That sounds awesome.
Let's we don't have to keep saying that we're excited for it because we're pretty much excited for everything, right?
That's true. I'm every single piece of content on this list I'm excited for in like varying degrees. Like I'm gonna watch everything. I think I'm least excited for this Echo show probably, but everything else I'm like excited because like actually I just wasn't intrigued by Echo, but I am 100% gonna watch it because I like the universe it's in. I love the Daredevil universe.
We didn't talk about it yet, so like we're getting an Agatha. It looks like it's a Disney Plus show. We're getting Agatha, which is
Well, let me talk about it right now.
Okay, so like she's coming in winter of 23-24. Dope that we're gonna get like a bad guy show. I love it.
Yeah.
Like I'm waiting for the Acolyte to come out for Star Wars. Like I'm eagerly like that's the one piece of Star Wars content that I am eagerly waiting for.
I'm pumped that we're getting two pieces of bad guy content. So like we've got Agatha Coven of Chaos, winter 23/24, which is a Disney Plus show all about Agatha. Obviously, that's a character from WandaVision. Sorry, spoilers. Sorry. Then, spring 2024, we've got the thing that I am most excited for.
Yes,
100%. It's It's a Disney Plus series, Daredevil Born Again. So obviously Daredevil's coming back. Charlie Cox is playing Daredevil, and Vincent D'Onofrio is playing Kingpin, which is fucking epic. And it's not like 6 or 8 or 10 episodes like normal. It's 18 episodes in one season.
Yeah, that's fucking unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Because you know that Disney Plus plays no games. Those are an hour each.
Right. And here's the thing. Maybe Charlie Cox and D'Onofrio said, we'll do one season. They're like, fuck it, 18 episodes. Let's go. That's
True.
like, and if they do one a week, that's almost a half a year of content.
Exactly. That's fucking awesome.
That's a lot of Wednesdays.
Honestly, that Netflix series, Daredevil's awesome. Really good. Season 1, Season 2, Season 3, all of Daredevil's amazing. Defenders is pretty solid, and Jessica Jones Season 1 and 2 are very good. I enjoyed the shit out of those. I think Daredevil's probably my favorite, like one of my favorite characters for sure. But so then May 2024 now, Captain America New World Order. I'm interested in that, not because like I don't know, the Falcon character Sam Wilson into Captain America is like medium compelling to me, but I think that's going to lead into larger.
Well,
it ties the political stuff into like the larger Avengers stuff.
I think Nick,
it's like a nice glue movie, you know.
Well, I think we feel like that because Winter Soldier and Captain America the Falcon Winter Soldier sucked so bad.
That's true.
That like I'm not excited for that, but like
that movie,
Sam Wilson as Captain America is going to be dope. Because now Sam, like, he's going to be able to fly as the Falcon and be Captain America. You know what I mean?
That's true.
Because that content sucked because they had to like edit the whole show because it was a pandemic and we were in a pandemic, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think. But what's cool about this first page that we're talking about is basically everybody you're seeing in this realm. Phase. This area of the stuff that we're discussing is all going to be a part of the Avengers that comes later.
Right.
Connection, I think, is what's going to make it really exciting. Yes. You know,
agreed.
Honestly, like I'm excited for these things and I'm really excited for Daredevil, but I'm actually more excited for another piece of content.
The last one?
It's on the next page.
Yes.
Oh, me too.
I think I know what you're talking about, but
I'm going to explain it.
So Captain America New World Order comes out May 3rd. It's a movie, comes out May 3rd, 2024. I think that's a good point too, Marcus. I think I care less about that, the new Captain America with Sam Wilson, because of how crappy the Falcon and Winter Soldier series was. I think well, I'll explain. Yeah. Fernando, because I know you haven't seen it, the Falcon and Winter Soldier is not great because they had to cut a whole like half of the show.
The whole plot line was
spoilers. I've gotten spoilers, so don't even worry about, you know.
No, but the gist is like they're fighting this faction of like essentially terrorists, right? And it originally written, there was a whole pandemic piece to it, and then it came out in 2020. It was supposed to come out in 2020,
of course.
So they had to cut all of this viral pandemic plot line to like cut around it. So like they had to stretch out everything else. Yeah, so it ends up playing really slow, you know?
Yeah.
So anyways, so then the last piece of Phase 5 is July 25th, 2024. It is the Thunderbolts movie. So if you're not familiar, the Thunderbolts is a team-up movie for your anti-heroes / villains.
U.S. Agent, baby.
This is a villains team up. So you've got U.S. Agent from Falcon and Winter Soldier. You've got Abomination from the Hulk. You've got I'm drawing a blank, but there's like we've been introduced to like 3 or 4 different people.
A lot of
but either way, can I announce the next thing?
All
Phase
anti-heroes,
six.
yeah. So
So
now
that's
in
phase
phase 6.
I know what he's gonna say. I know what he's looking forward
November
to.
6th, 2024, we're getting a Fantastic Four movie.
Yes.
But here's Nick and I have been talking about this for a while. It's been confirmed, and I think it was yesterday it was confirmed.
Yep.
It is not an origin story.
Thank God.
Yes.
We all know Tobey Maguire is the best Spider-Man ever, right? Like Andrew Garfield doesn't even compare. But
Okay, Toby versus Andrew. I like Toby better. However, I think Tom Holland's the best Spider-Man.
Well, no, I do agree to that. Tom Holland is the best, but I just like to stir the pot because, you're either team Andrew or team
Toby.
Yeah, team Tobey.
Yeah.
So
I mean, Andrew did a good job. I mean, I think honestly, I enjoyed all the Spider-Mans.
Yeah.
I think we're talking about like 1A, 1B, 1C, but
again,
I think
you know
Andrew
why?
got screwed by the directors. You know.
No, the movies were good. The problem is you know why Tom Holland's Spider-Man is so good? He started off as Spider-Man. Like, we didn't need to see him get bit by the radioactive spider.
Right.
We didn't need to hear MJ go, why are you sticking to the walls? You know what I mean?
you know what else, Marcus? We know what else. Think about other Spider-Man stories you absolutely love. Spider-Man PS4 starts out as Spider-Man. Spider-Man, what's the animated movie? Into the Spider-Verse. He's already Spider-Man. Like, you see Miles Morales become Spider-Man.
There's a little bit of origin in there. There's some.
But you start out with Peter Parker's already Spider-Man.
Yes, Peter
So
Parker.
it's fine.
Yes,
so
there is a Spider-Man already. Yeah.
So like, it's cool to see. So you don't care about Miles Morales becoming Spider-Man because you already have Spider-Man, and like, that's already done.
That's a good point.
Now that you mentioned that's coming out in October, Into the Spider-Verse 2.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll be taking my son to see that shit. I'm taking my son to see that shit. Day one. But anyway,
sorry.
That's one downside.
Phase 6.
Well, let's hope. Wait, I'm gonna say, I'm hoping one of these empty spots in Phase 6 is a Miles Morales
Spider-Man
movie.
Yes.
Or TV show. Honestly, I prefer the Disney Plus shows. Like, the movies are good, but like, honestly, me too. Like the TV shows. But back to Fantastic Four. If they don't have to go through the
origin story,
yes, and they
with
can
the
just
radiation
start off
from
as
space and
like,
shit.
yeah, exactly. Like, they don't have to do that, and they just start off as the Fantastic Four, and all of a sudden Doctor Doom comes out. Like, you can invest 1,000 more minutes into Doctor Doom and 1,000 more minutes on how he's torturing the Fantastic Four, rather than the hour and 15 minutes of origin story and then 15 minutes of Doctor Doom versus Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Like, I was a little like, I feel like they have to do Doctor Doom because they have to get it
they're
right.
definitely gonna.
No, I know they are
coming next.
Yes, yeah. But like, for me, like, I'm really looking forward to it. And if I had a vote, I'm on Team Jim for
Jim Halpert.
Yes, Jim Halpert for Reed Richards.
Yeah, Krasinski. John Krasinski for Reed Richards.
Yeah,
I think it was good.
Fantastic Four just hasn't, for some reason, they just had so many problems with it, and it's
because of the origin. Like, the first one wasn't terrible.
Yes, I agree.
Like, every time they reboot it, it's always the origin story, and I think Disney is realizing, or Marvel, whoever, is realizing that we don't have to do that. Like, the first comic book of Fantastic Four came out in 1960 something, right? Like, yeah, like, you don't need another origin story.
Yeah.
Right. So
moving on.
So in Phase 6, there's a lot of blank spots. There are 1, 2, 3, 7 blank spots.
Can I
Phase
just?
6. We only announced 3 things.
I think there's an Easter egg here, which I don't know what it is. It's above Winter of 24 in the green.
Yeah, it's a big yellow spot, right?
Well, it looks like a green star that's really blowing up. So that's definitely something that's going to tie into the movies. The only reason why I say that is because in WandaVision, when they have the calendar of the date circled, that ended up being the trailer release day for No Way Home.
Right. So they don't ever do stuff like that.
They don't ever do something like that because it's not on the other page at all. Oh, it is under Guardians of the Galaxy, but like, there's a reason for it.
Yeah. So anyways, the next thing that's on the calendar. Well, there's this empty slot for winter 2024, empty slot for fall 2024.
What we know.
Yeah, a couple empty spots there. Then anyways, fast forward to May 2nd, 2025, we've got a new Avengers movie. It's Avengers the Kang Dynasty. So that's the big conflict with Kang, which is why I wanted Fernando to make sure he watched Loki.
Oh yeah.
Because obviously this is all going to build up to multiversal Kang wars. You're going to have characters from lots of different multiverses coming together to fight against all the versions of Kang. They're going to have to go back in time or something and figure out how to stop him, or go to the Back to the Future.
I think they're going to have to go back to where Loki's killed him.
Sylvie killed him. Yeah.
Well, there's the thing. This is one of the things that I really like about Disney is that, or whoever's been doing the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the MCU stuff, is they have done a great job of tying stuff in together. Whether you realize it or not, it can be like, oh, we get it, superhero stuff or this or that, kind of predictable. It doesn't matter. You have to give them credit, the fact that they are doing multiple phases, connecting multiple storylines, doing things like they are going back to the original content from like the early 2000s all the way to now to link it all together. And that is something that you have to give them credit for, because for example, Fantastic Four, they're creating another movie, and the fact that people are excited for it, it's not just us, it's people in general, because Fantastic Four, first movie, like Marcus said, it was fine, it was good, and then they just kind of ruined it a little bit with all the origin story stuff. But the fact that we're excited for a reboot is a testament to how well Disney has been really ramping up the stuff.
Because we trust them.
They can make it better,
right,
with all the content and stuff, and loop them into the story, because they've just been able to do that with all the other stuff.
Well, I'm just going to say, if they announced the Fantastic Four movie pre-Doctor Strange Multiverse of Evil Dead, I would have not been excited.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But after seeing that movie, I got excited for it.
Me
you know
too.
What I mean?
Me too.
And can I do the last one?
No, hold on. I want to talk about Kang real quick.
All right.
So
Fantastic. Let me chime in. Vern's like, no, it's my turn.
Oh, yeah, I have to fight for my voice here. So okay. So
fight for your right
to party. I forgot the point I was gonna make. God damn it! But so, anyways, so I was gonna say it's important to introduce Doctor Doom because of the tie-in in the comics, the Secret Wars, and this is what I was gonna say. This is what I was going to say. Did you hear the margarita talking there? So it's important to introduce the Fantastic Four, especially in the midst of this multiversal chaos, before the actual Kang conflict, because in the comics, Kang actually originates from Nathaniel Richards, who is the ancestor in the future of Reed Richards, who is Mr. Fantastic of the Fantastic Four. So John Krasinski's character in spoilers, in Multiverse of Madness is the great grandfather of Nathaniel Richards, who is Kang, essentially. Kang, or He Who Remains, who goes back, who figures out the time travel and stuff and becomes King the Conqueror. His multiversal versions of himself is King the Conqueror. So it's important to have that ancestor established as a for real character in Fantastic Four, so that when the Kang Dynasty blossoms into a chaos, you've got that relation to come back. Because I'm sure there's going to be timey-wimey time travel stuff in that movie to have to deal with all the versions of Kang. And maybe that's why I said maybe they're going to go back to the future to see, are they going to have to kill Nathaniel Richards or something? Or are they going to have to kill Reed Richards? Or so what's going to happen? They're going to have to deal with that family lineage from the get-go before he becomes King the Conqueror or something like that in order to deal with that chaos. So now that's May 2nd, 2025. Marcus, what is happening? The last piece of content announced November 7th, 2025. We're getting.
Oh, it's my turn?
Yes.
Avengers Secret Wars. So Avengers Secret Wars, just the Secret Wars was the comic, is my favorite Marvel comics of all time.
That is widely regarded as the best Marvel comic series of all time.
Right. It was my favorite. Like, I couldn't wait to go to the comic book store. Like, I begged my mom because back then when that shit came out, like, if you weren't there within the first like 2 or 3 days, you were not getting that issue.
Yeah.
You were waiting for somebody to like buy 5 and bring one back that's like half ripped, and you get to read it in the store. I was that nerd.
So Avengers Secret Wars, that's important because that ties into the Secret Invasion storyline where you've got the Skrulls taking over everything, and now the Skrulls are a problem and you've got to fight people. But also in the comics, in the most recent I don't remember when it was, but the most recent version of Secret Wars, there's 2 versions. There's like an 80s version and a 2015 version. The 2015 version, essentially the multiversal war happens, some crazy shit happens, and somehow Doctor Doom is in control of everything. In control of the multiverse, and he makes Battle World. It's like Pangea, like this one continent, and every single Marvel character's fighting each other in a gladiator style like tournament thing. So
yeah,
that's why it's important that Doctor Doom gets introduced in Fantastic Four, and like somehow this Kang conflict gets resolved, and eventually at the end of it, Doctor Doom's ruling everything.
Dr. Doom.
I don't know. Obviously, I don't think the MCU is going to follow that precisely, but I don't know what the hell kind of chaos it's happening. But in the original Secret War storyline, that's where you got like the first Spider-Man in the all black costume with the like Venom symbiotes. That's where that comes from.
That's crazy. Yeah.
They redid that. They changed the story in the 2015 version, but like there's all kinds of chaos, and like in a Secret Wars set up from the comics, you will have literally every single Marvel character you've ever seen. Like this is the time where they would bring back like a RDJ as Tony Stark. You'd bring back like Chris Evans as Captain America. Like everybody, like all the original characters, all future characters, and what I think is going to be a lot of these blanks is X-Men movies.
Yeah, the interesting thing too is like quick sidebar is just the idea of like all these movies connect that started from like 2000, like what, 7 or 8. Imagine how far we were going, and we're like in 2030, and you're like, dude, we got to start. The new movie's coming out. We got to start going back to like the early 2000s and watch Iron Man 1 and all these other movies to like link it all, you know?
But I also feel like that ended with Endgame.
Yeah,
you know what
now
I mean? We're in a reset, like because none of those characters, I mean, for the most part, not none. Some of them will be, but for the most part, we're in a new world. That's why it's a 2-year thing before we get to an Avengers anything, because they're building up that the team. Disney's going to find out, or Marvel is going to find out, like who are the characters, like who are the fan favorites. You know what I mean? I know She-Hulk is coming out soon too. Like
She-Hulk,
I've never read the She-Hulk comics. I've never watched it, so I'm excited. But who plays the Hulk? Oh my god,
I forgot. Mark Ruffalo.
Yes, Mark Ruffalo is in the She-Hulk movie show,
and so is Daredevil.
Yes,
She-Hulk is an attorney at law,
right? Exactly.
I think Daredevil is going to be she's going to be the prosecutor, and Daredevil will be the defendant.
Right. So like, but that's what I'm saying. So like, we have some good things coming.
Yes.
Yeah, but they'll still all be connected, and like when you have true fans, which the reach of the MCU is so big that people are going to say like, you got to watch this, you got to watch that. Same thing with like Star Wars stuff, right? Like people are always like, you got to start here, watch these movies, then go from there. Like I know with my girlfriend for Star Wars, I was like, you got to start with episode 4, 5, 6. Then you got to go to the prequels. Got to suffer through the Phantom Menace, watch the rest of them, and then go to the new ones. And it's like people will want to watch it in the appropriate order because it was so big and so influential. Like I don't think there's like movies and there's still shows, but the movies you can still put them into an order and respect like what they've done to bring it full circle.
Well, there's no question of that. It's just we need, like, I'm eager to see what happens with all these shows moving forward, and I'm curious to see who the next
Avengers.
team is. So I do have a question. It is a super important question for us on the show.
Okay.
Who is your favorite Star Wars character?
Whoa. We're changing gears here.
All right. I mean,
You don't have to
go. I'm ready.
You don't. No, it's for you.
Oh,
we're moving into the we're moving into the Fernando interview section.
Oh, favorite Star Wars character? Kit Fisto.
Whoa. Okay. Explain.
Yeah, probably pretty random. Let me explain why. Star Wars Clone Wars. Both the 2D version from the early 2000s between Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, and the show that came afterwards, like Star Wars The Clone Wars, that was on Cartoon Network. Kit Fisto, even though did not get enough justice in Revenge of the Sith, he has a lot of versatility. He's very wise. And I will say, in the 2D version where they take you to the underwater city, in the episode of the 2D version where he goes to the underwater city and is fighting like the squid people, I can't remember their name. It was really cool. It was very different from the other Star Wars characters. And then also in the other Clone Wars show that was like 3D on Cartoon Network, the episode where he's in General Grievous's lair, which I believe is in the first season, he's so calm, cool, collected. He's a very, again, different character that stands out compared to the other Jedi and stuff. And again, the versatility of like being a Jedi Master, being able to breathe air, no problem, but also being the only Jedi who can like literally swim in water and stuff. And just his nature of being very open, very relaxed, and not ever letting stuff get to his head. I thought I could identify with that myself. So he's like my favorite character. He's very unique. I would say like a lot of people don't say that about him, and he's probably a little forgotten. But again, Revenge of the Sith, this fight scene with Palpatine does not give him justice.
No, they totally screwed that scene up.
It definitely screwed him up. But if you know about like backstories and stuff, you know that like the reason why he was killed so quickly in that fight scene with Palpatine is because of his Jedi, like his lightsaber fighting stance, and also Palpatine being so powerful in general.
Right,
so,
right. I think just the choreography of that scene is lacking.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It didn't do the moment justice.
Exactly, but he is a really, really interesting character to me in that, just like given his personality and how he acts, and also how he fights. So I really like Kit Fisto, and also the 2D Clone Wars is something that a lot of people miss because it used to only be released on like Nickelodeon in like 5-minute segments after like a random SpongeBob episode or something.
Right.
But they released it on Disney Plus, and there was a period where you could just find it on YouTube, and I made my girlfriend watch all of that before we watched Revenge of the Sith, and it was just like a good reminder of like, yeah, this guy is like low key but pretty fucking badass.
Hell yeah,
he was as a Jedi Master and stuff.
That's a great answer.
Yeah.
The quick version of mine is my favorite character is Darth Bane. Darth Bane is the Sith that originally started the Rule of Two. Prior to Darth Bane, all the Sith were like fighting each other and could never like rise to power properly against the Jedi. He instilled the rule, killed them all, and said, "I'm going to be the only Sith, and I'll take an apprentice who will eventually try to kill me." And there's a very, very, very good series of books about Darth Bane. And my favorite part is at the end of the books, he's learning essence transfer, and it's unclear as to whether or not he successfully essence transferred himself into his apprentice. And when you fast forward to Rise of Skywalker, when Palpatine's saying, "I am all of the Sith,"
you don't got to reference that.
I know. Hold your horses. He's like, "I am all of the Sith." You've got all the Sith in the background, and I think I like my headcanon is that Darth Bane is the one that is in control of all of that. So it was actually Darth Bane gaining power through each Sith over time. through all of that. So
can we just recognize everybody that every time this question gets asked, Nick says, I'm going to give you the quick answer, but he gives you the entire story every time.
I do
every time. So Nick, he could just be like, okay, everybody ready? No, but seriously,
Yeah.
it's
then also honorable mention, and I flip flop between the two. It's mostly Darth Bane, but also I really enjoy Mithron Yorodo, also known as Grand Admiral Thrawn. But go ahead, Marcus.
Yeah.
What?
Who's your favorite character?
Oh, R2D2. That's it.
Yep.
See, I like it because Marcus's answer was straight to the point, good. Nick's answer, I felt like I just paid for a semester of college. I got like multiple tests.
R2D2 is always there for his peeps. He doesn't need the Force. He doesn't need weapons. He doesn't need anything. He's just a guy that is there to help all of his friends and always be a positive light. He is Star Wars to me. Anyways, what got you into gaming?
Ooh, that's a good question. So for me, the big thing that got me into gaming, it really started with my dad, who he was big into gaming, and the first console I remember we had was a Nintendo 64 growing up. And from there, like the biggest games we played were Ocarina of Time, so Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, 2 Rock, which is where I got my first taste of yes. The original 2 Rock was like, that was big with, your brother comes in, your older brother's coming in, he's talking a lot of shit, and he's like, all right, you just load up the Nintendo 64 and you're playing some games. And then from there, you evolve into the great game GoldenEye, 007 GoldenEye, which is
one of Marcus's favorites of all time.
Oh, yeah. That game was super solid. So my whole family, just like dad, playing games and just being someone who traveled a lot growing up, he really got us into the video game stuff. So it taught us a lot about new worlds, new concepts, all these things, moving around. And also, it really helped keep me in connection with a lot of friends because I haven't said it on the podcast yet or anything, but like I moved around a lot as a kid, which is why like I have no Spanish accent. Like I lived in England for 7 years. I've lived in Puerto Rico, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, Indiana, a lot of places. And it was like, what do you do to keep in contact with your best friends? You grab a phone, you call them, and you're like, hey, Mrs. So-and-so, is John there so we can fucking play some goddamn Call of Duty together? Great. So,
right.
Yeah.
I'm surprised
Family's definitely what got me into it, though.
Hell yeah. Same here. My dad took like a computer engineering class or software engineering class. It was in his like little office room, like on the computer all the time, and I quote unquote couldn't bother him because I was a little kid when he was doing homework or whatever on the computer. And then like the time, so like it was the elusive room with the computer I couldn't touch.
Same. It's like this little like office area, and you would go in. Yeah. I would go in and like my dad's playing either Warcraft 2 or StarCraft. All these games, like I think there was like Command and Conquer in there randomly at different points. And it's just like from there, it's just like we never turn back. Like when I was younger, like I watched Lord of the Rings. I could be a 4-year-old watching like Lord of the Rings from like the games I played, and I'd be like, yeah, this isn't scary. I don't care about like orcs didn't scare me because like you play these games. And it's like
you have like the reason why now, creepy shit.
Yeah, my girlfriend tried playing League of Legends because I told her how much I like video games, and now we're playing a game called It Takes Two.
It Takes Two,
which is a really good game. I would definitely recommend playing it if you have someone to play it with. But it's really fun and really well made. I think you would both find it pretty interesting.
Okay.
The concept, I don't know if you know about the game, but the concept's about it's like a husband and wife who are going through a divorce, and their daughter has like these dolls that she made to represent her mom and dad. And after they start talking about divorce, like suddenly their spirits are sucked into these dolls and they enter this like imaginary world that's their own house where they have to like defeat different bosses that are like inanimate objects in their house. And it's like a puzzle game that you can only play with another person. Basically, it would
Wait,
probably be in like a PC character if you can't play it with someone else. But it's like you literally have to play with someone helping you because there's like puzzles throughout and there's challenges in the game. But like there's action, it's adventure, it's like fantasy. And it's really really well done.
I
And
think Marcus. I think wasn't who was telling us about this?
8-Tracks.
Was it 8-Tracks or was it Randy?
Oh, maybe it was Randy. I don't know. I don't remember.
it's
But
really
either
good.
way, yeah, it's
It's
good.
a really, really good game. It's a lot of fun. And my girlfriend who didn't play, like she played video games growing up, but like not with the same passion and intensity I did. Like she'll tell me like, "Hey, this is a It Takes Two type of day," and I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And then we'll just like go on the PS4 and play together, and it's fun because
Oh no, this is a different game.
she's not as
Is
used
it?
to like the puzzle stuff as I am. So when we're playing
Yeah.
and one of us gets frustrated, like I'll get frustrated because she's not used to like the controls and the mechanics of playing like a third person shooter type of game, and then she's just frustrated because like it's just it can be overwhelming with the puzzles and all this stuff, and I'm like, babe, take a deep breath. We can do this.
Right. That's fucking
No,
awesome.
no, it's a great.
This looks really cool.
It's really fun, really well done. I have to give it credit. And also, one of the best features I think I've seen on a game is they give you a complete free trial of the first level. And as soon as you reach a reaching point of like you're done with it, like not like a 5-minute demo. It's literally like a 30-minute first level
Level.
complete experience. All you have to do is decide like, do you want to buy the game? You do it. You've already downloaded it through the demo. So if you just pay
Yeah.
like the price of the game, you can instantly get back into it and play with the person you're already playing with. And you can have two people playing at the same time, which I thought was a really great feature that you don't see in a lot of games. That made it really like, again, I asked my girlfriend about it and was like, hey, let's try it out. Let's see how it goes. And as soon as we were done playing this like 30-minute demo, I was like, we got to buy this game right now. It was really good. Really
That's
fun.
100%.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. So what would you say is your favorite game of all time? The one game to rule them all.
Kind of a cliche. Well, not really,
Okay.
actually. I would say my favorite game out of all the games I played, like there's obviously different games that fit the mood, but the game that I will always want to go back to and always talk about is The Last of Us on the PlayStation 3 / the PS4 remake.
Okay.
First primary reason, the story is incredible to the point where I played it, obviously cried, got really attached to the characters. The cinematics that they give you in the game, you can rewatch them anytime. So it's like watching a 2-hour-long movie because the graphics when it came out in 2013 were incredible. It's a Naughty Dog game. They make
Yeah.
Uncharted, all this other stuff. But the sleeper thing that people I don't think talk about enough is the online multiplayer is fantastic to the point where it's a third-person shooter, but while you're playing the game, it ties into the mechanics of the single player, which is really unique. But also, they give you challenges because it's not just like Call of Duty where you like level up. You have to perform in the multiplayer. If you do not play well, your ranking and different things that you unlock in the multiplayer actually go down because the whole point is it's a game based off of like a post-apocalyptic world with like a fungus that's actually real. But what they did was this fungus, what it does is it infects the bodies of like insects and basically turns them into like zombies. And then what it does is it kills the insect, the spores spread, and it infects another insect and just kills it and keeps growing. But they took that concept and turned it into like the world has basically
like
turned into like a zombie fungal apocalypse. The first 10 minutes of the game, I still remember when I bought the game the first time, a GameStop employee, she was talking to us because I was like, oh, I heard really good things about the game. She was like, the first 10 minutes of this game, if you don't cry, you have no soul. and I was like, I was
Yeah.
literally like 13 or 14, and I still remember I went home because when she said that, like it stuck with me. I went home, literally cried in the first 10 minutes because I was like, holy shit, this is insane.
Yeah.
And the gameplay and everything is incredible. And if there's a huge difference between like the easy mode versus like the super hard mode. Like easy mode is already hard, and they're like, if you want to actually challenge yourself.
Yeah, but but in most single player games, it's like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Like
it's just
yeah,
it's a good
100%.
pace.
Yeah, like in all of them, you play. Look at Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2, you can like there's a easy, medium, and hard mode, and then insano mode. So
Yeah.
my favorite question to ask is PC or console gamer?
Oh, this one's hard because
It's
my
not
first
hard.
experience
It's
was
not hard.
It is hard because like my first experience was console with N64, but then a lot of the games I play now are PC.
Yeah, but would
Right.
you? Yeah, but that's. I guess. Would you consider yourself a PC gamer or a console gamer?
I'm
It's
gonna
not
say
about like.
I'm gonna say console
All right.
because
Okay.
N64 was the first one. Like that was really what got me into it, and then from there it's just like you play Warcraft, you play StarCraft, you play all these other games after that, and it's like really exciting. But like the console is what got it started with again, like Ocarina of Time, Turok, and GoldenEye, and games like that. So I will always prefer to go back to a console game because the split screen too, playing locally with your friends, that's what really gets the people going. I would say like
Hell yeah. Absolutely. So, okay. So I know you from, obviously we met through paintball, but in terms of gaming stuff, I know you play League of Legends with some of our teammates. So what made you initially gravitate towards League of Legends? How did you get involved with that? And what kind of game is that? Can you describe it real quick first?
Yeah, so do you mean like League or paintball?
Well, League. I'll talk about paintball after.
League is a MOBA, so I believe it stands for like Massive Online Battle Arena is what it stands for. And the idea is you have a base, you have 5 characters, and it stemmed from Dota in Warcraft, which is just like you have characters, and the whole point is you all start at level 1. Each character has unique abilities. You cannot have, for the most part, you cannot have the same characters on each team. So like you have unique champions that you pick. League has, I believe, around like at least 140 unique characters now. But the whole point is gather resources, killing minions. You have towers, and the whole point is to continuously progress, level up your character, level up abilities, get different items, and at the end game is to destroy the enemy base. And the reason why I gravitate to it is similar to paintball because it's all about understanding your opponent and being able to outsmart them. You have matchups where you can lose, you can win, and as long as you know or have an idea of what the person you're playing against does, you can outsmart them, beat them, crush them, and then just lead your team to winning. And that's what I like about it. There's like a simplicity in the beauty of 5-on-5, destroy the enemy base, but there's also the complication.
There's not one fucking thing on this planet that's simple about League of Legends.
Oh no, there is. The idea around it is simple.
No, it's not. No, that fucking game's learning curve is insane.
It's hard, but I'm saying like the people like when it's
the
insane
only thing
now.
that's simple about it is it's a 5v5 deathmatch. Like that's the only thing that's simple about it. Everything fucking else is complicated as shit. You know what I mean? So
I would say now for sure, but like I'm telling you, the thing is like there's a running joke in the community where it's like a 2022 champion because characters that came out in like 2010 are so simple, mechanics are like not that hard, and you play a character that comes out like a few months ago and they are a mix of like 10 characters, abilities, everything, and you're like, yeah, if you don't actually know what's going on, it's going to be confusing, it's going to be complicated, you're going to get frustrated. And it's the only game that I will say like pisses me off and makes me fucking angry. And and basically like go to a dark place that I would say like every gamer gets to eventually, you know.
Yeah.
But I like it because the concept is simple of just destroying the base, but it's like you have to deal with people who think they know how to play well, people who are still learning champions, and then try to act like they know how to tell you what to do. You know, like you are basically, it's like walking onto a field of like, I don't know, like I described it to like other people as like you're going onto a court and you're trying to give someone advice. And when you try to tell someone like, hey, you should like, let's say if it's like a basketball court, you're like, hey, you should post up on this guy and just block him. And they're like, fuck you, I'll do whatever I want. You're a fucking loser, pussy ass bitch. And then you're like, okay, this is who I'm stuck with for the next 30 minutes. That's fun.
Right.
This will be a good time.
Yeah.
And then when they like intentionally try to lose the game, you just hope that they get banned, but it doesn't always work. I know my roommate typed out to someone one time at how upset he was. He basically described how they should no longer be a part of this world. And I was like, well, dude, you're going to get banned for that. And he was like, good. And I hope that they listen to my advice. And then he like literally left my room. And I was like, well, this is League in a nutshell. People who are.
Jeez.
Well, I think
high tension, high emotions. I guess.
Well, I think in the world of gaming, I think that's everywhere. Toxicity is everywhere. And anytime somebody plays a game so much, they become toxic.
Yeah.
And especially in any competitive something, anything that is competitive. Like I have friends who take like regular PvP matches like it's life or fucking death.
Yeah.
Where I could give a shit if I win or lose. You know what I mean? And it's just that. So this might be the most important question on the show.
Yep. It's
there is a wrong answer.
There's one wrong answer.
One. It's it.
And we're completely judging you if you say it.
Oh, if you judge it, it's over. Like we're just hitting the end button to this podcast.
Yeah, there's a lot of right answers, but there's only one wrong answer. Okay?
Right. What is your favorite ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay, you're safe.
Safe.
And in particular, I went to school at Penn State. Penn State has a creamery that they make their own ice cream, and they cannot legally sell it to supermarkets because of the fat content in the ice cream. It's so high. So Penn State Creamery has a bunch of great flavors. Mint chocolate chip is next level. People will literally fly in or drive and stand in a line for 2 hours on a football weekend to go to this place and get tubs of ice cream and just either eat it that day or take it home with them, because the demand is so high that they actually have like a method of keeping the ice cream cool with like dry ice that you can literally grab it and take it back with you on like a 10-hour drive and it will still be frozen. So yeah, they are all about it.
That's awesome.
Mint chocolate chip, that's it. And whenever somebody goes, it's fucking mouthwash, I'm like, oh, you're uncultured. That's fine. Go eat something and then talk to me.
No, man, I can understand mint chocolate chip. That's cool. I just, the only wrong answer is pistachio. Like you can like pistachio, but if it's your favorite, there's something wrong with it.
I feel like pistachio doesn't really have like a place in this world. Like it's there to like, you have like a
thank you.
You have like a craving for it every now and then, like you want to eat it, but like nobody really goes like, yeah, this is the flavor. Like I wake up going, damn, I want pistachio ice cream.
Exactly. They're like, I want ice cream and I'm thinking of pistachio. Like there's something wrong with you. You should be on psychiatric medication.
100%.
And probably be seeing a therapist.
Yeah.
If that's your ice cream du jour, like ice cream to end all ice creams is pistachio, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's the wrong answer.
100%. Like family never loved you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's tough. That's how I feel. That's how I feel like when you say
the crazy thing is 2 people mentioned that as their favorite ice cream that we've had on.
I don't know, and I hope they're okay.
I hope they're okay too. I hope the best for them. I mean, I just want them to be better.
Yeah.
All right. So before I have two more questions. Second to last is, what is your favorite gaming moment?
Oof.
moment in gaming that's like sticks out to you?
It
It's kind of a tricky question.
is. I feel like I have periods where it's like different. So like gaming moments, Nintendo 64 playing Turok out of all the games, believe it or not, that's one.
Yeah.
GameCube, Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. That game was so fucking solid that like my own friends to this day will say, "Let's go out, let's have drinks," and every time you die on Lord of the Rings, Return of the King, like the hardest game mode, every time you die, you take a shot. And I was like, "Well, we blacked out in like an hour, so that's great." Mario Strikers, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker,
Yep.
and then also can't forget Super Smash Bros. Melee. That game is like life defining. Like if someone's telling me they haven't played it, I don't know.
I really respect you because every gaming anything has to do with the N64 and old games.
Yeah,
And like GameCube.
Everything. Like there's nothing new. Like you said, Last of Us, but even the original is old.
yeah,
But like not like that. So like hats off to you. All right, Nick,
No.
take us out.
yeah. Got to give the quality where it's due. And then also World of Warcraft. That game shaped a big part of my life. That was the last thing I was going to say about favorite gaming in general. So,
But why don't you play it anymore?
I think it's just like, again, after Cataclysm, there were moments where I literally found myself in front of my computer, sitting there for like 2 hours, flying around on my mount, and then just being like, I could do dailies, but that's like same thing. I could wait for
But
the raid.
after all these years, why not log in and try the new expansion when it comes out?
Well, I think it's just like you just kind of find that, like I mentioned earlier, it's just like things got blurred and were similar and lost its individuality, which made it fun. And I felt like there were better things I could do because at one point I was so obsessed with the game that my friends would be like, "Dude, let's hang out," and I'd be like, "I'm sick," like Mean Girls, and then I would just sit there and play World of Warcraft for 12 hours. And when it lost that like excitement, I just decided like, there's other things I could do instead of paying like $15 a month for a game that I really am just sitting here not doing anything.
I get
Yeah.
it.
I think that game paved the path for other games to be where they are today. And
Agreed.
if they could make like a revamped version of it where like graphics are better and stuff, maybe, but also they keep going back to, again, like I said before, of like class like vanilla Burning Crusade and now Wrath of Lich King. I would play those again, but I would stop after that because that's where it kind of lost its flavor.
Yeah. All right. Last question for me. So obviously you and I are friends through paintball. So what are your paintball goals?
Well,
I think it's probably worthwhile to note like where you are in paintball right now. So Fernando and I both play for and the same organization, but not the same team anymore. So our organization is CWE Power. That's Chris Ford Electric Power. That is a paintball organization. We have 3 different squads now. So we have the Division 2 squad, which is the highest skill level squad. That's CWE Power. That's where Fernando plays. I play on CWE Power 2. That's Division 3 squad. And we also have we have CWE Power X, which is our Division 4 squad that only plays local tournaments. So Fernando and I used to play together on the same team, CWE Power 2, and then Fernando got called up to the big leagues this season to play on CWE Power 1, we call it. Colloquially, it's just CWE Power. That's the Division 2 team, the higher skill tier.
I'm just going to mention this, though. I'm pretty sure CWE Power 2 made Sunday. Boom!
Oh, we don't have to talk about Philly. Philly was an experience.
That was a rough event for Power.
Yeah, we're going to learn.
Power 2, we did okay.
Over!
Hey, the one thing I will say about myself is I'm a good teammate, and I will always go out there because I was there for the Power 2 matches. I still am in the group chat. Vern will tell you, like, I am posting and I'll respond to stuff. I'll make fun of people the whole time, joking around. But
of course,
I love the boys.
Well, of course, but like you always have to have like what I have found in paintball or any team when you have like different levels of teams, it's always like everybody always wants to be on the big dog team, but when the little dogs outperform the big dogs, no matter the skill gap, they still outperform. It's that good feeling. You know what I mean?
Oh,
I've
yeah,
been there. Yeah.
And you got to talk shit, of course.
You
Oh,
have
yeah.
to talk shit.
And that
Like,
was
you can't not talk shit. Like, I don't give a shit if you can shoot me off the break faster than I can shoot you. I was playing on Sunday when you were fucking eating pancakes from the sidelines. You know what I mean?
100%. And that was like,
Yeah.
and that was like part of the exciting part of being called up. But like, I do remember being on like Power 2, and there were times where we would practice and play against Power 1, and we were going like 50-50 on points. And I was like, I'm always hype about it and being like, let's fucking go. Like, I'm
Yes.
excited to see people getting better, but I'm also excited to like, if I'm playing against them, I want to beat them.
Yeah.
But
Of course.
Sure.
really, my
It makes
goal,
us better.
yeah, my goal in paintball is like pretty simple. Just like my goal in general is like I always just want to keep striving to get better, and learning. But really, and particularly with paintball, like one step at a time. So we're on Power 2. We're on Power, not on Power 2 anymore. Power 1, playing D2, and the goal really is like now to be a team that goes out there consistent, plays together, wants to be together, and then also just continuously like striving to get better. I think complacency is the worst thing in the world. Like whenever
100%.
when you're like, this is good enough. Like that bothers me. So
Yeah.
I love feedback, and I will challenge myself. And there's people on Power 1 that I know are better than me, and I will constantly be asking them like, what can I do to get better? Which is also why, like Vern will tell you, I always get to the field excessively earlier than other people.
Yep. And I am basically the opposite.
And I will be like, all right, let's do drills, let's do this, let's do that, let's get the people going. I came from a team before in Colorado that like, if you were not at the field before 7 a.m., you would have to run basically a mile before practice. And I was late once, and I had to run that mile, and I hated it. And this was back when I was like super, super fat. And I ran that mile once, and I said, never fucking again will I ever be late, no matter what. So the goal is ideally be a winning team in D2, get there, and then go up to semi-pro and just honestly give something back to Chris Ward for what he does for us, because like my short time being on this team, I can tell this guy, like, I don't know him in terms of like super, super well, but I think he's a really good dude. He cares about people. He's there for the sport, and it's very rare to find someone who really does care about just investing in others with your personal money and like wanting to see you develop. So my goal is like get better, have fun, do it with your friends, but also like give back to the people who support you. And Chris has been a great support since I've been on this team since like August of 2020, and I wouldn't see anything else other than the fact of like wanting to get trophies for the team, for me, and like for him in particular. Like I want him to know that we're doing this for him. I want to keep getting better and get as high as I can. But right now, the short-term goal is winning here and then getting to semi-pro, and then eventually, when we can
How
do
old are
it.
you?
I'm 20. I'm 25, about to be 26.
All right. And then does Chris Ward have a kid?
Yes.
Yeah.
Does he play on Power 2?
Chris has, I believe, 3 kids.
Yeah, but how many of them play on
0?
None of them.
His oldest kid is like 14.
No,
I'm thinking
not
of
even.
Charlie.
I think he's like 13 or 12.
That's a plot thickens. Anyways, well, thanks.
Yeah, it's interesting that he's so invested in the team.
Well, there's only been one other person on this planet that I know that was like Chris Ward, but he owned a paintball field that cared so much.
Yeah.
That was
Dave
Dave Painter.
Yeah.
Who owned 187.
Right.
Yeah. No, Chris is a really, really good guy. And like, again, moving around a lot growing up, you meet a lot of people, you talk to them. And I can tell you, like, meeting Chris, he's one of those people who, like, you don't have to say the most words, but he definitely, through his actions, will demonstrate that, like, he cares about people. And I'm just big on the idea of, like, if people invest in you and care about you, like, treat them how you want to be treated. So if he's helping us, I want to help him, and that's all I care about. And that stems not just from Power 1, but like helping people on Power 2, helping people on Power X. Like, I always go to the field. I'm excited to play. Vern will say that there was a there was a period the last couple of weeks where we would have a throw together team, and it was called Fernando and Friends because I would show up and be like, "All right, we got some Power 1 guys, Power 2 guys. Let's get out there. Let's have a good time. Let's fucking shoot some people." And we would play and enjoy, and like that's what it's about. Like paintball is about having fun and shitting on people, and that's what I like. I like having fun because I shit on people.
Okay, so
yes,
and
I'm gonna. There's the two best things for me for paintball. There's only one thing. Two. Well, three, but the three is a bonus. So my friend, the first thing is shooting somebody off the break. Hands down, that is the best fucking feeling ever. Like, see you later. That is the best feeling ever. There's nothing better than that. The point just starts and you see a dude walking with his head down, fucking shoulders in, like, and he's just going wah wah wah,
right,
wah, off the field,
and you're
right?
now your upper body, and you're like, yes, I did that.
Second thing is, I think more than actually playing in the point, I loved being in the pits, slapping somebody on their chest and tell them to wake the fuck up. You're down 0-3 and you say, guys, we fight. Like, you don't stop digging. Like, let's go. It's time to go. And those words there, that next point you win, the next point you win, now that's fucking tied up and you pull out a win, or at least finish with a tie because you fucking pushed. That is what it's about. And then the last thing, of course, is a friend of mine and I always said, if we ever went against each other in a match, that when we're walking off the field, we are going to unload an entire hopper on each other and walk you off the field by shooting you off. And the last event I ever played, it was our last preliminary match. One of my closest friends, he's a big guy like me, and like, him and I did not play the point at all with anybody else. Him and I spent the entire point snap shooting each other, and he shot me out, and he lit me up so bad that the refs threw a flag because of overshooting, and it was the funniest shit ever.
Was it Matt?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's a great time. And like there's actually
I miss it every day.
Byrne was a coach, or I guess like a coach or like observer, whatever you want to call it. Like when there was a tryout for Power 1, I went to the tryout, and I will say,
evaluator.
Evaluator. Highlight my two favorite moments was one on the one-on-ones. There's a pro player who used to play on Power 1. His name's Ivan. He's a great person, great mentor, great player.
Yep, plays for Sacramento DFG now.
Yep. I got stuck playing against him in the one-on-one. I was like, all right, let's go for it. I beat him in the one-on-one, which if you ask him, he'll be like, dude, my paint was shooting like shit, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, that's fine. I love talking smack with Ivan. Then,
of course,
going back to what you said about shooting people off the break, there's a video where like there was people like there at the tryouts. Smiley Joe captured a video, Ivan running off the break, and you just hear this clap. Him getting, and he just slides off, and he's like, damn, that was a good shot. And he comes over, he's like, somebody shot me. I was like, oh, that was me, because I knew when I shot that shot, I was like, these balls are on point. I saw them hit him. He comes over, and he's like, hey, someone shot me off the break. And I was like, oh, yeah, that was me. And he was like, oh, yeah, you hit me. And in the video, I'm like, let's fucking go, baby. Like, I'm screaming and excited, but that's what I mean. It's like that excitement of playing with your friends, beating them, learning, growing, like that's what it's about. And my goal in paintball is just to get as high as I can. And right now it's just enjoy D2, get to semi-pro, win some stuff, and play with my friends. That's all I care about, honestly.
Hell yeah.
Okay, working class questions time. We're going to blast through these. Because my ass needs to go to bed.
Yes, this is a marathon show, but it's okay.
Feta says, if you discovered a magic genie and they granted you 3 wishes, what would you wish for? Typical genie rules apply.
Okay.
Can I go first?
Of course.
Okay, so my 3 things would be water.
Okay.
I would never want to run out of water because I don't know why. That would be my first thing. Second thing, would be health. Always stay healthy.
That was one of mine.
And my third thing would be to have so much food that doesn't spoil that nobody in the world starves.
Well, you took two of mine. I was gonna say maybe like forever, like wicked strong and healthy. Basically, be like a superhuman and like never die. I don't know if I want to never die because it's gonna eventually be lonely. But like I would be like super healthy, right? And then end world hunger, so nobody's ever hungry and nobody has to like worry about like food, shelter, like basic living necessities, and then like probably an unlimited amount of money because like then I can have a lot of cool shit. I know on a paintball field or something. But Fernando?
I'm going to go first one, a little selfish here. Never have to pay taxes ever again.
Okay.
Just
I think a little short-sighted, but I get it.
Yeah. A little short-sighted there, just for like personal reasons. Two, would love to be able to just both enjoy wealth and spread wealth. So like have a supply of money and then also be able to give it to others and help them. And then lastly, I would say kind of like you said, like end world hunger. I think that would be good. Just be able to.
Yeah, like that helps a lot of homeless folks and
it'd be nice. Stuff. And then from what I said about like resources and stuff, eventually paintball team, paintball field, support people, have fun, live life well, and then boom, done. All right,
exactly. Also from Joey Feta, aka Frozen Jenna, asks if you could have an unlimited supply of anything in the world, what would it be and why? Well, I already kind of answered this. Probably money, because I can just buy stuff, I can just buy food or buy burgers or buy video games or buy paintballs or buy boobs or buy whatever it is that I my heart desires, What do you guys think? If you could unlimited supply of anything in the world, what would it be and why?
Anything in the world?
It's hard to like pin down an object or one thing, right?
I don't want to say money because you already said that. I'm going to say if I could do
that quickly,
something unlimited in the world would just be unlimited travel.
Supply. No, an unlimited supply. It's an unlimited supply of anything, not like something you could do. I want to have an unlimited supply of
tacos
or Oreos.
I don't know. Bringing up tacos, Vern, kind of messed up. Anyway, I'm going to say if I had an unlimited supply, I would say like the unlimited supply of plane tickets, just so I could travel the world. I think that'd be really cool. I've loved traveling the world growing up, and I think meeting people is great. So if I keep doing that without having to pay like $1,000 to fly to one place, that'd be awesome.
Good point. That's fair.
Marcus? I'm not saying money, because money would just be like, I wish I had unlimited money so I could fly everywhere. But
if I could have an unlimited supply of anything, it would be an unlimited supply of love.
Wow, what a great answer.
Wow. He's definitely an honorary Latino. He may say he's not, but that's a Latino answer.
Oh, I'm not Latino.
That's a lot of love.
I'm a whole lot of French Canadian and a whole lot of Greek.
All right. So Stask asks, if you could have dinner with any three people, living or dead, what would it be? Dead people would be alive for the dinner, not some sort of like reanimation situation. Three people is hard to pick. I don't know. Alive or dead? I'd probably pick Oliver Lang, Teddy Bruschi, and I don't know my third. Full disclosure, I got to think about it. You guys, anything come to mind?
Yeah.
Oliver Lang is the paintball player, the professional paintball player.
Wait, who's Oliver Lang? I'm sorry, I have no idea. I don't play paintball.
Well, I know you two do, but for the listeners, that's not one of the most famous probably the most famous professional paintball player of all time.
Not anymore.
Well, not anymore, but when I was growing up, he was. And and then Teddy Bruschi is the football player I looked up to most when I was younger. And then I don't know my third yet. I'm thinking about it. It's hard to think about who would you want to have a conversation with. I'd probably go with JFK.
Ready?
Just to know the background of like what the hell was happening when you were a president that it got you killed.
So
You know,
my 3 would be Steve Jobs.
okay,
100% Martin Luther King.
ooh, good call. Great answer.
And then I'm kind of torn between the third because it's like it would either be Albert Einstein or it would be JFK because I would want to know if there's fucking aliens. Like I could care less about him being a president. He knows if there's aliens, and out of all the presidents, he would tell me.
Okay, that's fair. Agreed. Fernando?
My 3, I'm going to say Abe Lincoln because I think imagining this country in like a literal civil war, not just like over Twitter or Facebook like it is these days, but like a literal civil war of like people killing each other would be interesting just to see like his experience back then when the country was forming. Then Gandhi, just because I think he's had a really big impact on the world in terms of like his views, and he's very peaceful, and I respect that. And then lastly, my one and only celebrity man crush, Ryan Reynolds, because goddamn, he's beautiful, he's hilarious, and I feel like if I got to know him, we would be like best friends. So, yeah.
All right.
Very nice.
The follow-up question from Roth would be, who would you choose if they were reanimated? So if they were dead, who would you pick?
All right. I would still pick JFK because I want to know who killed him. But like, which is kind of a crappy answer because it's basically the same reason I want to talk to him in real when he was alive. But
I would actually say the same thing because I'd want to know if there's fucking aliens.
Same answer. Okay.
Like I would raise him from the dead, say JFK, is there aliens? Yep. Okay, see you later. Go night.
Yeah.
Like
go back to your eternal rest.
Yeah, go to bed. I'm sorry to bother you, bro.
Oh,
Go back to the games.
Someone who's dead.
It's tricky. Yeah, someone who's dead who would be reanimated. It's tricky.
It's tricky.
I'm gonna go a little wild here.
Okay.
And say
we're all about it.
I'm gonna say Leif Erikson, the Viking.
I thought you were gonna say Han Solo.
No. That's a galaxy far, far away. You know, we don't know all that. But Leif Erikson,
see what it was like?
Because he was technically the first person to actually go to North America, I believe. Like
first documented, yeah.
Yeah. So I would be interested to see like what his life was like and what he experienced and what it looked like. I'm not gonna say Christopher Columbus because I'm in HR. I gotta be PC.
Right. Good. Okay, fair enough.
All right.
Last question.
Yeah, Quinn
asks,
which do you enjoy more, Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka or Gene Wilder's Willy Wonka? I mean, come on.
I got it. Gene Wilder's.
Yeah, of course.
100%. That's what I grew up with.
The snozberries taste like snozberries.
It's a good movie because it's silly but fantastical at the same time. Whereas like I appreciate Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, but for different reasons. It's just like it's too weird, you know.
Yeah,
it's almost like a different type of content, you know.
Like I want
go ahead.
I want like the post Amber Heard Johnny Depp Willy Wonka.
Not the in the throes of the chaos Johnny Depp Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say
like, that
Johnny
is a
Depp
weird character.
Was creepy. Gene Wilder was scary because some of the things that happen in that movie and the scenes, like this guy was like, yeah, he's crazy. So I would say Gene Wilder, definitely.
Yeah.
No.
Gene Wilder, I feel like I read the book too, so like I feel like the Gene Wilder Willy Wonka does a better job of portraying the vibe of Willy Wonka, of like this crazy, like entrepreneur, like dude that's like just out of his mind, and like he's got these fantastical chocolate creations and factory, and like if a little kid dies, You shouldn't have gone in.
Gene Wilder's like about Willy Wonka.
Yeah.
Charlie in the Chocolate Factory with Johnny Depp is about Charlie with a weird character named Willy Wonka. You know, like who's Johnny Depp. So
yeah, it's a little different. But anywho, all right. That's the episode. Fernando, thanks for coming on. This was awesome.
Absolute pleasure. You guys are great. Marcus, everything that Vern has said about you is
100% false.
Yeah, I agree. You're even better than what he said. Like, he
Rip
was
that
undermining it. But no, seriously, like this has been a great pleasure. Love talking about this stuff with anybody and everybody. So appreciate you guys having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you so much for coming on the show.
What are you guys talking about in here?
Find out next episode of Working Class Nerds.